playing our annual May the 4th Star Wars session. So for the last few years on or around May the 4th, we have been playing games around our Night Below campaign. Sometimes we've been taking Wednesdays to play about a month of Star Wars games, and sometimes we've been playing multiple games. This year, on the day of, kicking the morning off in North American time, we're playing a Star Wars session. This year, we're getting a version of the Star Wars RPG to the table that we have not used before. That is the Star Wars Roleplaying Game Revised. This is the second version of the Star Wars RPG published by Wizards of the Coast. It is a revision and a pretty substantial... There's been some substantial changes from the first version that was published, and this one is very different from the Saga edition, which is the final version they published. This is probably the closest to kind of 3.5 D&D, although there are some fairly notable differences in it. And with me today are the stars of our session, which we're calling Harbor 7. In the past, we have visited clone troopers. We have had a crew of former Jedi in our Wednesday sessions. Today, we're doing something a little more grounded. The Andor show has been out for 2 or 3 years at the time of recording, so we want to do something a little more earthy, not earthy, but like ground level, less, about the battles of the Jedi and stuff like that, and more about just folk who are affected by the Empire. And joining me for this session are the stars of today, some luminaries from the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel's player roster. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you guys are playing and who you are. First up, we've got David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'll be playing Ara Takaris, a human scoundrel. Scrounger. Not scoundrel, although she might be scoundrelly at times. Scrounger, who is desperately trying to reunite with an old friend.
Oh, very nice. Next up is our resident armor smith, Dave.
Hey everyone, I'm Dave, and I'm playing Crescent Kokad, who is our Quarren Scout, and he's got a boat.
Very nice. Next up is Darren.
Hello there. Yeah, I'm playing Pydric Dow. I think I'm going to pronounce that. Who is a human tech specialist, so nifty with repairs and working on the machinery.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is Will.
I'm Will. I'm playing Bill Morano. He is a human scoundrel.
Very nice. So, guys, our session takes place around 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. This is, let's see here. Our setting is the planet Retendi, a mid-rim system that is mostly populated by ocean and also interspersed with a ton of mid to small island clusters. It is or has been teeming with life, and I want you to picture a dreary like New England fishing village by way of Star Wars. That is the planet of Rutendi for our session. Our session opens in a darkened house. And what we can hear through the open windows is the sound of machinery in the background. There's the sound of, and heavy machinery. If you think like, the bottle skiff being emptied early in the morning, or the garbage truck going down the street early in the morning. Sound that's not enough to be like you're working next to a big machine, like a big operating machine or engine, but enough to hear the sounds of industry in the background. And what we see, lighting his way as quietly as he can through this darkened room, we can tell from what the signs of living in here, pictures of people who probably live here shrouded in darkness. We can see knickknacks that were either things of value to people who picked them up for whatever reason in the course of their journeys, or things that were valued by their ancestors and kept around as a sign of connection to the folks who came before. The person moving their way through here is Crescent, and I'd like Crescent to give us a stealth check. to get things going.
Sounds like me waking up this morning and trying to get to the game before without waking up anybody.
Exactly.
So move silently, or
Move silently, yes, of course. Thank you.
yeah, okay. Sneak around the house without waking anybody.
Okay, nice. All right, so a 15. So you're doing pretty well, Crescent. You're making your way. You know who you don't want to wake up. And you actually make it all the way to the door. You activate the kind of thing. And that's when you hear a creak of old machinery moving in the darkness. Somewhere closer to where people would be sitting in this room. And you know exactly what that is. A light kind of flashes on, that kind of like too bright, garish white, but also not enough to really illuminate the room that you see in Star Wars so often. And you can see illuminated, even in spite of the years of rust, it is the shifting of your father's cybernetic limbs. And what he says, "You're breaking the law."
I have to go. I have to go out. How are we going to eat?
The Empire says you can't fish in those waters anymore. You're breaking the law. This is no new argument with the old man. The smell of synthahol in the room tells you exactly how he got himself to sleep last night. You normally kind of hope that on days when the tides are favorable, when you can get out beforehand, he'll sleep through you getting out. No such luck today, it seems.
Yeah. Well, unless you want to starve, I'm going out. So.
And what's going to happen to your mother if you get caught?
Have I got caught before?
His eyes narrow. You know he's not going to be able to get up, and certainly wouldn't be able to reach you with these shitty old cyber limbs of his.
I'll be out the door before you. So
there's a look between the two of you. You close the door, and you begin making your way down. And this is when we can actually see, sort of, for one, the source of the noise and what you're getting to, or where you live. What you would see again, I want you to picture the kind of like, the squat sandstone structures we see in Mos Eisley, or those white daub, buildings we see on Tatooine in the farms. But imagine all of that washed away in a gray, with kind of discolorations of mold on there. There's old, the kind of like not pleasant hanging vines that hang to the side of, trestles. This is the kind of rugged, stubborn weed that clings to the side in the face of bad weather, freezing temperatures, and salt water. There are people who are making their way through the village as well, but they are not dressed like you. Many of them are dressed in very similar clothing. The noise of what you can hear, is at the droid shack. And what the sound is the dispensaries that are moving out. The night crews have clearly been working well, and what you see making their way out is about 5 of these. Now, there's no guns on these versions, and they are very rusted. But what you can see making its way out from the droid shacks, just as a reminder of what these things are, they are droid transports. And almost 20 years ago, they would have been used, more than 20 years ago, I guess, at the time of our session, they would have been used to transport battle droids. They are also used in labor, because it's a handy way to transport things. And from what's kind of these things chugging their way out of the droid shack and then making their way out. All the droids have been serviced overnight. All of them have gone through their oil baths and whatnot. And they will be heading out to service the aquaculture farms. That harbor 7, where you live, what was used to have another name before the Empire came, the aquacultures are what has been the only real source of employment here since the Empire has consolidated fishing into a mass production process. You can see everyone is heading down to the transports where they will be going out to supervise the aquaculture and the work of the droids, and they are passing many of the people who are leaving the droid shack. You've already rolled your move silently, Cressa, so what do we normally see when you are making your way down to sneak your way out? This is often a good time to get out too, is when they're all going out. You typically can get out undetected.
I think he's wearing something that looks similar enough to what the other workers are wearing, that, you know, like if someone notices him, they're just like, okay, whatever, someone's going to work. But he's got that over top of his regular gear or his regular clothes, and he just kind of like casually walking along when there's nobody, and then if he sees something that looks more authority, then he'll like wait, just kind of stand around behind the shack or something like that, and then waiting to go. So he's trying not to be too obvious, but yeah, it definitely doesn't want to get caught.
What you can see as you're making your way along too is, for one, there's apart from the mass industry here, there's no sign of the Empire's presence. So there's no stormtroopers, there's no Imperial officers, there's no army officers or army troops. There's no security droids. The expectation is that it very much has that small town thing where, as you're passing by, if you do happen to make eye contact with people, they sort of nod. And everybody, knowing what you also bring to this, everyone who knows you sort of, nods and knows kind of exactly what you're doing.
Well, because any extra beyond what my family eats goes to the neighbors. So I'm like the local Robin Hood, so they're good with that.
Precisely. So you see, and I guess one thing that you would note, your family for generations have been fishermen, or fisher folk, I should say. And one of the things that you look to the skies in the morning, that will tell you, what your day is to expect. You've learned to read the seasons with on Retendi the same way that your ancestors would have. And what you can tell, no, you're not making a roll, don't worry.
I thought that was a preface for a weather roll, and I'm like, no, don't do it, Kev, don't do it.
What it is a point of saying that you may be, if you were to think about it, this day is no different from any other for you. But you seem to be the only one who's really looking out at the water. Everyone else has their eyes on the ground, or their eyes just staring directly forward. You're able to make your way out to the edge of the village, and then down towards where many of the older fishing vessels have been beached. And that is where you've hidden your vessel. What are you feeling now that you're away from it? You can still hear the sound of the early morning in the droid shack, even this far away from it. But what are you feeling as you're getting down to the boat?
I think he's feeling a little nervous, actually. Because, I don't know, normally Dad sleeps in. Normally I sneak past him. We haven't had one of those talks in a long time. And, I don't know, today just feels different. Like, I don't know, like something could happen, and I don't want to get caught.
So you make your way down. Maybe you're with that in mind, you're just hustling your step up just a little bit more than what it is. So your anticipation, making your way down to where you've hidden it at the kind of lee of one of these big ships, a tarp over where you've concealed it. There's little early morning lizards or whatnot that kind of like skitter away, as you get close to there, that have taken refuge underneath the ship. And as you get there, what you can tell is that the tarp, you need not make a roll for this. It's not quite the way you left it. You have a specific way of making sure no wind is going to get under that tarp to make sure it catches it, and someone has been careless with it.
That's exactly what I was worried about. Okay. So I think before he untarps it, he's going to look around for other signs, maybe like footprints in the sand, or no, those are probably gonna get washed away.
Yeah, give us a survival check, please.
Oh, what the heck? Give it a check.
There's not a lot of sand in here, but there's enough that's been sort of caked up over the years. Well, I mean, it doesn't really caked up over the years. There's enough that's in there as the tides went out, where you can see that there are footprints around there. So, an adult's boot prints are around there, and as you're looking, you can see that there is a little bit of detritus, relatively fresh, that was left behind, and that worries you.
Ava or Ville's footprints?
You can't tell with that good of a roll, but they could be.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
It's tough because there's so many people here who actually, that is quite a good roll. I'll tell you, it's sort of the like standard issue, Imperial work boot that has been like the people who work in both in the aquaculture and in the droid shack. They're not Imperial employees, but they're sort of a standardized, work camp type boot that is fun. That's the print that's here. And I'll tell you, Vil would not be caught dead in those fucking boots.
Okay, no, so it wasn't Vil. It probably wasn't Era. Era helps me source parts for the boat, but I don't know. Okay, I'll just forget it. I'll just unwrap the damn boat and get moving. The longer I stand here, the more at risk I'm at.
I think you know what you were going to find, and someone has smashed a hole right in the bottom of your boat, in the middle of it. Like someone has taken something heavy and sharp and smashed a hole in the bottom so that you will not be able to sail. This is not blaster fire. This is not crew. This is someone who seems to have known where this was, who's gone over and just taken a fucking pickaxe to it.
And it's an Imperial boot.
It's not. It's the type of thing that anybody in the village could have been supplied.
Oh,
anybody working in the aqua culture projects, anyone working in the droid shack. What it is the other folks who, like, Wenton Morano is Vil's dad. Wenton runs the what do you call it? The mechanic shop, like the sort of the garage, effectively. He wouldn't wear that shit because he's, his work is outside of that. You're outside of that. But almost anybody else in the village could be wearing these boots.
Damn it. Okay, so what are my options?
I think we'll leave you there.
Yeah.
For now. Okay. And we'll turn to what we see. Yeah, you're just, what the fuck? So we turn
do I have to steal someone else's boat?
We turn to another early morning riser. Again, we can hear the sounds of, you can picture it's sort of like the way I'm envisioning the droid units being, or the dispensaries kind of going out, is picture like early morning, pre-dawn dump trucks making their way out, where you can see the lights on the side, and you really get more of an impression of the silhouette and the sound of it than you do actually details of it. But you look over Pidrick. Pidrick, you said, right?
Yeah, he was fine.
Pidrick, you're making your way along, and you were also hustling your way. You're going to get to Wenton's shop, hopefully.
Yep.
Early there. So you are hustling along. What's going through your mind as...
I'm probably not paying too much attention to what other people are doing. I'm solely focused on getting to the shop. When I left last night, there was sort of next to no work to do, and I'm worried about keeping the business going. And I just feel like I need to get through all the junk and try and find any outstanding jobs that we can get some money coming in.
Okay, so maybe you got one or two things in mind to sort of get you started and get yourself going. When you get to Vil's shop, of course they don't lock the doors, right? Like this, even in times like this, Wenton just knows better than that. You open the door, you make your way in. and the lights go on. There's that kind of thing where you got to go over and tap one of the lights to stop it from flickering too much. Give us a, let's see here, I think mechanics check, please.
Mechanics. I cannot see mechanics.
Repair I'm thinking of.
Yeah, repair, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely got that one. 22.
Nice. Okay, so you got something that hopefully will at least, you know, keep you busy for a little bit. What do you think it is that you're working on?
Some sort of engine for some sort of vehicle, sort of farming or machinery that just needs a good service, and sort of taking it into parts already, and just got to clean it up and put it back together and check it over.
So as you're making your way over, you're like, okay. You notice, you get to the back of the shop, and what you can see, there's a tarp over something that is on like a repulsor skiff, the kind of thing that you would move stuff around. That wasn't here when you left last night.
Yeah, I think that would immediately draw my eye. It's like, we must have a big job coming that I weren't aware of.
So if you make your way over there, you then can kind of hear someone stirs in the shop. And you look over, and this is becoming an all too frequent occurrence. Wenton seems to have got in here and then fallen asleep on kind of the little, you know, sofa type thing that's in the... let's see here. There we go. The sofa that is tucked in the corner of the... it's a Star Wars sofa, so space sofa. This is what he looks like. So he kind of blinks. Oops, sorry there, Ara. Moving you around without your consent there. Wenton kind of opens up, and wakes up. And he's like, oh, Pedrick, I thought I'd find you here this morning. And you're kind of looking at this thing. And he says, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. Have a seat.
Yeah, sit down.
And he picks up a glass and kind of looks at it, and it's empty, puts it down. Pedrick. And this is not normally his thing. Normally you're the one it's got to the point since you started working with Wenton, you sort of remind him what shit he needs to get done and what shit he can bill people for, because while he owns the place, he owns the generator that keeps the lights on and whatnot, he needs something, right, to be able to keep the lights on. And you're the one who's sort of been keeping things going the last 3 or 4 years, certainly. It's unusual that you don't know what is under that tarp, and it's unusual that he's in here like this and trying to have this chat. So he says, listen, what did you plan on doing today?
And I'll start listing some real minor rubbish stuff that tries to make me sound like we've still got a lot to do.
And he's like, and which of those, so let's see a list, 7 different tasks you were going to get done today. And then he's like, and which of those was going to pay?
Probably the first one. A little.
Yeah, a little. And Wenton sort of gives you that, apparent kind of not humoring, but knowing that you know exactly what we're gonna. And he says, this can't go on. You can't keep rusting here. You're too good of a mechanic, and you've got too many seasons ahead of you. My boy doesn't want this, but I don't want this for you. I'm grateful for everything that you do and you've done, but no one needs their engine serviced when it's only the Empire's engines. You're going to need to find, if you go to Capital, if you go to one of the bigger harbors, you got to get more. But there's one thing you need to do first. And he's pointing at this thing under the tarp. This is something an old friend from Harbor 10. That's how you'd know it. His name's Salak Kether. Kether has secured a license to fish. And he asked me to fix this for him. It's overdue, and it's a long time. What little he has been able to pay will go to you. To get, and like, you're thinking through how to do this. You don't have a boat, you don't have a skiff, you don't have a, transport. So like, how the fuck are we going to get this to Harbor 10? Harbor 10 is easy, like 2 days travel, maybe 3 days travel in order to reach it. And he says, Brooke Agast, who's a local guy you know of. He's one of the guys who has not found a place. He's not working in the aquaculture. He's not working in the droid shack. Brooke Agast still has his skiff. I don't think it's been out in... This is before you could hold a wrench. But I know where he keeps it. And he's not going to know. If you can get Brooke's skiff up, take this to Salak, collect the pay of what's due on this, and use that to find something better. Something at least more. It's... The Narglatches are spawning now, so find Crescent. Get him to show you the way to get there. I know he'll know it. And find my boy and bring him along too. Tell him he owes me. And you can tell, like, he really doesn't feel like Vil owes him anything. There's an utter lack of conviction in the way he says that. But get Vil to come along. The Narglatches are dangerous when they're breeding and having an extra set of eyes. If you can find her too, get Ara to go with you. The four of you should be plenty to operate that skiff, and if anything should be a problem, don't let Vil bring anything else on the ship. From what I hear, the Empire's checking ships for licenses and for unauthorized fishing. We don't need your future starting with a trip to an Imperial prison because of smuggling. There's a fair bit of conviction in the bitterness behind that comment. I know this isn't what you want or you think you need, but can you do this for an old man?
Of course I'll do it. There's no debate in that. But we can talk about the business later. Once I've done this, got it back to Harbour 10, Then we can discuss. I've got ideas. We can get a contract with someone. We can make it work. But let me get on with this, and I'll pull the thing back.
Yeah, and you see, it's it's the kind of repulsor lift engine that would go into a fishing skiff. Like, and it's, you know, Wenton does not have like academy training. He doesn't have, you know, higher education stuff, but he easily is one of the, if not the best mechanic and technician you've ever met. It's a fucking incredible job. You could not think of a way to improve on what, well, maybe one or two. He is stuck in his ways and not willing to try new things, but an astounding job. Like, this is exactly the kind of thing, and you can tell just from looking, it's the kind of thing that'll last, you know, 20, 30 years with regular maintenance.
And is it pretty much ready to go, or does
it's
it
good
need
to go?
Yeah,
find the guys, get the go and sneak off with Brooka's vessel. I'll put the names in chat. Again, I know we all went to high school with these Star Wars name people, but I'm having to consciously spell harbor the American way instead of the Canadian or British way. So I've had to do that the whole fucking time whenever we've been prepping for the session. It's really funny. Okay, and
Brooker.
All right. So then what we leave you with is Wenton sort of looks at you, you know, with that, okay, Bydrek, we'll talk when you get back.
Yeah, I'll dash off.
So we see you heading off to find the others. What we then see is we'll cut down to the waterfront. And what we can see down there, there are a number of identical skiffs that are making their way out. Many of them have already begun making their way out. There's maybe like a last arrival of someone dressed in the thing, hops onto the skiff. People are talking the way they do at the start of like a, you know, like a mining shift or any other kind of shift work thing. They're all getting on, all dressed very similar, all with the same kind of equipment, but it's a variety of ages. Like you wouldn't be mistaken in thinking that everybody works for the aquaculture, or because it seems like almost if you're old enough to turn a wrench, you know, you're kind of heading out there. And if you're not so old that you're going to fall down, you're also heading out there. So the skiffs are going up, but there is one exception to that. And that is a vessel that looks like this. And this is a old fishing skiff that you can see there are a mixture of humans and Mon Calamari who are working on there. Looks like they're getting ready to depart. It seems to be the only other vessel that is in the harbor. And the harbor definitely is large enough to have accommodated more. There's probably, you know, we could see dilapidated Star Wars style piers as well that have not seen service in the last 15 years. And someone making their way through the crowd to get there is a Mon Cal man who looks like this. And the way that he's making his way through the crowd, you'd be forgiven for thinking that, or through the sort of sticking to the alleyways, you almost think that he might be trying to avoid somebody. Because there's obviously a straight route down towards the harbor, but he's making his way along. And as he sort of looks at those big, you know, bulbous eyes of his, he kind of, and begins stepping out. And that's when, Vil, you can let Toklar know that you're right here.
Hey, Toklar. How are you?
He stops. And then he gets a smile on his face as he turns. Was not there when he first heard your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, I was looking for you.
You seem to have found me.
That's fortunate. We're heading back out again. Heading out to Harbor 28. But I'm glad I saw you before we left.
So am I.
Yeah.
Do you have something for me?
Oh, have something for you. What would I have? The
Calm
credits.
down,
Phil, Phil, I got so busy. I was talking to folks at the cantina last night. Just slipped my mind.
Look, we're friends.
Oh,
We
of
do favors
course.
for one another. How about you let me know how much of my money you don't have?
No, I've got your money. Hold on. Just he's like, get over here. He calls out, and you can hear kind of a it is a kind of squawking sound as a rusty and poorly maintained droid kind of rolls out. And he says, "Ha! Just like your name, you're late. Stupid droid. Hold on, Phil." And the droid kind of looks up at him, looks over at you, and his little, optics reticle opens up, and he says, "Phil." "Hi, Phil."
How are you?
And Toklar says, "Don't pay attention to him. Come on." And the thing opens up, and there's a little, hidden compartment on him. You were aware of this. He draws out some credits, and Toklar comes over. Again, that smile's back on his face. "See, here we go, Phil. I was gonna pay you. I just didn't see you." And he goes over and gives you the money. It's 2/3 of what he owes.
Mm-hmm. Now, Toklar, this isn't everything.
What do you... Count it. That's everything I owe.
Looks like you're about a third light.
Am I? Oh, you do not need to make a sense motive check for this. He turns around. He's like, "Useless droid." He comes over and kicks L8. And he says, "You miscounted." And he looks up at him. He's like, I didn't. And he says, "Give me the rest." So, second compartment opens up. The rest of what's owed. Takes it from him. "Stupid droid. Here you go." And he gives you. That's everything that was owed.
Okay. Well, that's great, Toklar. Thank you very much.
We're friends. I was gonna pay you, Phil. Just, Well, gotta catch the tide. Here there's, Imperial patrols coming out this way, so don't want to get caught by them. You might want...
definitely.
All right. Well, if we're Squareville, I'll see you next time I see you. He turns and L8 begins kind of rolling next to him. His eye is squarely on you. Bye, Phil.
Bye-bye, L8.
And you see he's kind of looking around in each direction. You can hear Toklar up ahead. "Hurry up!" You know precisely who L8 is looking for. Mm-hmm. And he continues kind of rolling along. And they make their way down there. Toklar yells at L8 once again before they finally get onto their skiff, and you can see them going. Vil, you see them all get onto the skiff, and hidden just out of view is Ara. She's overheard everything. Ara, I think you know better than to let L8 see you. It's just going to upset the little droid. And once unless you guys walk away, the skiff sets out pretty quickly. Smoke kind of comes out from the engine, and it begins making its way out. It's certainly far enough away now, Vil, that there's no chance that L8 would spot Ara, nor that Toklar would spot her, because they don't really get along either. What do you guys say?
I think Ara will emerge, putting her pistol away, and so trigger finger slightly twitching. Like, hell, you were meant to get L8 back. Like, what are you doing? Like, what happened to buying him back?
It's a long-range plan. Don't sweat
It's getting longer by the minute, as Ara points to the skiff disappearing in the distance. Like, I know he owes you money, but the droid.
We can't make him think we want it. Okay? We've got to convince him that he doesn't want it. It's all going to be fine. Just breathe.
Just from what you even heard, Ara, you're good enough mechanic and in droid tech to know, like, it's almost as if Toklar is intentionally not servicing him. Because you could hear there's certain servos that were whining and whatnot, like...
He's just neglecting him.
That's part of it. He'll tire of it. It will become more of a burden than a benefit. That's when we make our move.
I've just shot him. Would have been so much easier.
Maybe, but I don't think we have the kind of cash you would want, especially if he knew we actually wanted the droid.
It's around then when you guys can see Pydrick is, making your way to, and Pydrick, you would have looked down and you can see that Ara and Vil are talking to each other. And I think I'll leave it to you to decide whether you want to know what they're talking about, because it's rarely something that is productive, and it's rarely something that is going to keep you free of trouble.
Nah, I won't be like sneaking up to try and find out. I'll just sort of wave as I'm running towards them.
What do you say?
Out. I'd probably call out to Ara, Vil, and I'll just be sort of running down. And when I get to him,
yeah, and like you guys would weird that Pydrick is coming. She should be in your dad's shop, Phil. Like that's she's always in your dad's shop, which makes you think maybe something. If she's looking for you in particular, something happened to your dad. Well, what happens next?
As soon as I get to him, I need your help. I've got a job. I need to take a skiff for your dad, and I'll sort of point to Vil. I need to take it over to Harbour 10. I was hoping you'd help me. We need to man this thing, and another few pair of eyes would be useful. So,
Vil, for one, your dad doesn't ask you to do stuff. There's just an understanding between the two of you, so that's weird. You're also, like, he's a local repairman, right? Like, there's probably equivalents of him in Harbor 10. So why would someone 2 or 3 days travel away be getting work done on an engine for him? It's just like it's this is all kinds of unusual.
Yeah, none of this would have gone through her mind. She'd be just, I've got a job to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm doing it, and I need you lot because that's what I was told. So, wouldn't be thinking of it.
He specifically said my name.
Yeah, he says you owe him one. So, as far as I'm concerned, you're on the team. I know Ara will be able to help. I'm sure.
Yeah. Getting out of here for a while. I mean, there's nothing left here to scrounge really, so maybe there's better stuff in Harbor 10.
Yeah, it'd be an adventure, wouldn't it?
And he said we're going on the ocean as she looks back to where the other skiff is disappearing.
I can't remember. Do Ara or Vil, are either of you trained in survival?
Oh, hell no.
Yes.
Nice. So you can make a survival. How about knowledge Rutendi? I think it's like Rutendi lore or home world lore or something like that. No?
Nope.
Somebody is. It might be Crescent, actually, who has that. But then, Ara, why don't you give us a survival check? Ooh. You satisfied with that? Or you want to spend one of your force points?
I guess, yeah. Let's call on the force.
Okay, give us a 1d6 roll, please.
Come on.
Nice.
That's not bad.
So you're thinking like, okay, so this is the time when the Narglatches are spawning, and just to Narglatches elsewhere in the galaxy are typically land-based things, but the Narglatches on Rutendi are ocean-based. Now let me get this down here. And I want you to picture, I'll show you an illustration of this in a second here. Narglatch. A cross between a killer whale, a sea lion, and then just some Star Wars goodness. That's a Rutendi Narglatch. Because of measures, obviously a sea-born predator, an aquaculture is just a fucking buffet for them. So there are steps that the Empire has taken to basically drive them away, to prevent them from being able to access the things, which leaves them short of food and also, hungry. And at this time of year, they're looking to stock up. So there's going to be a bunch of hungry Narglatches out there. You are going to want to make sure you move at a pretty good clip. This time of year, Crescent would know how to properly pick spots to fish or take advantage of it to keep yourself moving so the Narglatches can't keep up to you. But it's going to take some careful navigating. One of those things for a small fishing skiff could upend it. And it's said that they can smell blood in the water for kilometers away. So, that's what you'd be aware of, is like
it's spawning season. Not sure if Crescent's skiff is quick enough, but yeah, it'll be, as long as we're careful.
Once Crescent's thing...
No, I've got another skiff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it faster?
Vil's dad, he knows someone that's got a big skiff that he's not going to use. I think we might need to borrow it.
If he gives you the name Brookagast, then you all know, like, Brooka is kind of the town drunk. So guy who just, was pissed that he couldn't keep fishing, pissed that he couldn't, he was too think of like Quint from Jaws, but Star Wars. That's Brookagast or Guest. Brookagast is just a very unlikable individual who just, when he does make his way down to the cantina when people are trying to enjoy themselves after a shift or unwind after a shift, once every 2-3 months, he's the guy who makes a fucking scene every time. So, but as far as you yeah, guest is there's no way that he's going to know. Really, as long as you can get the thing going, you should be fine. And like if anybody between the two of you, Ara and Pydrick, you'll be able to get this thing up and running. It's just a question of Crescent, because if he's out fishing today, like you may need to wait till tomorrow until he gets back, or you wait till tomorrow if he is gone.
Yeah, I need to go and find Crescent. Can you head back to the shop? Because we need him. He'll get us through. He knows the way. He's a good pilot.
Pilot we need. Well, why don't you two go ahead and start heading to the skiff and working on it, and I'll go get Crescent.
Okay.
Okay. So Ara and Pydrick, I imagine you've got your toolkit with you already. So the two of you, Pydrick, you may have heard that Toklar was in town, and if Toklar was in town, that means that L8 was in town. So, do you mention that to Ara? You're aware of how L8 came into Toklar's possession, but I mean, it's no secret that Ara built that droid from scrap, basically. So, do you have mentioned that, or do you just change the topic to talk about something else?
No, I think I'd mention. I'm sure I saw. Is it Toklar? In the distance when I was coming down. Does that mean R8? Did you see R8?
L8.
L8, sorry. Yeah.
It's a sort of clenching of jaw and fist, and then yes, I did. Bill was going to get him back, but Bill is playing the long game. Right. So apparently we can't do it now. We have to wait. But if we have a ship, like Toklar's skiff is very slow. If we get Guest's skiff, there will be a detour, or we can catch up with the skiff. And then they'll get to Harbor 10 later, right? You'd be okay with that?
Yeah, that's your droid. You built him.
Yeah. We're buddies. We're besties. I'm gonna get him back, one way or another.
Yeah.
I tried Bill's way.
I'll definitely help. We get the opportunity.
Excellent.
Okay. So the two of you are scheming for that as you're making your way over towards Brooke's skiff. Crescent, where would Vil find you? You know that your dad is up. So I'm going to assume you're not heading back to the home. Where do you think you would be heading?
Do I think there's somebody who could help fix my boat?
Ara is the one who could probably source you the stuff you need, but like the nature of the damage that was done here, like it's going to be
It'll be beached for days. For
sure. Like you're gonna have to someone has punched right through the whole hull in the center. If they had sabotaged the engine or something like that would have been an easy fix.
Yeah.
Someone really wanted to prevent you from going through with this. So Ara could help you with sourcing the stuff you need without, because like you can't pay for the fucking supplies to do this.
Maybe Pydrick could do the work.
Pydrick could definitely help with the work as well too, or at least give you an idea what needs to be done. So if you need to source the parts yourself, you could do that.
Maybe I'd head to Phil's dad's shop then, because I know where Pydrick is, and Pydrick could probably tell me where Ara is.
Yeah. So we'll say you met in with Wenton, and he maybe told you that Pydrick is looking for the two. So perhaps you're making your way to the harbor while Vil, you're making your way through town. Vil, what's, you're kind of, I imagine, flashing your smile to the folks you're passing in town, whoever is up right now. You maybe put a credit in some, lame woman's cup who's sitting outside of the, kind of the food not the dispensary, but like whatever the Star Wars equivalent of a grocer is. And you see Crescent come around the corner, and the two of you see one another, and there's this kind of like, oh, I'm looking for you. Like, oh, I'm looking for you kind of, moment.
Yeah.
So Crescent, you were looking for Pydrick, right?
Yeah. Like, Bill, handy to bump into you. I was wondering if you've seen Pydrick, because I need to talk to Ara about something.
Matter of fact, I just left both of them looking for you.
Huh? What do you mean?
They have got a skiff that they're going to work on, and they want us to help them with the delivery of some equipment to Harbor 10. And I could think of no one better to pilot it than you yourself.
Yeah, but I need to fish.
I think at this point too, Wenton likely has told you, Crescent, of the plan. So if Vel is saying that, I'm thinking of you for this, you're like, wait, no, but your dad is the... All right, whatever, Vel.
So this is your dad's scheme this time, not your scheme?
I wasn't even involved. I didn't know anything about it. Pydrick is who.
So this could be a first then. This could be like you going somewhere where your dad approves.
I mean, theoretically.
Wow. I never thought I'd see the day. Yeah, count me in.
All right, let's go then.
Okay. So, Pydrick and Ara, we would catch you. It's sort of on the opposite side of the village or of Harbor 7, where you'd find where Brooka's skiff is located. And Brooka's skiff looks like this here. Where are we? I can't read my handwriting. Okay, there's a K. So that is Brooka's skiff.
That's a battle barge. That's not a skiff.
When you guys get down to it, you have an opportunity to get on and begin kind of doing a check on this stuff. I think, is it Pydrick? Do you have the ability to take a 10 on your things? I should open up your character sheet so I
I haven't got a guarantee, no.
Let's see here. Oh, it's sorry, I'm thinking of Crescent's survival ability.
Okay.
Okay, let me see here.
I've got bonuses to repairs and such.
Here we go. All right, so why don't you, Ara, if you would give us a repair check at DC 15. This will be to assist Pydrick. And then Pydrick, give us a repair. Oh, nice. Okay, so you get plus... Whoa! So I think that we had said that both Pydrick and Ara, like you guys had worked under Wenton together at some point too. So this is like old hat of the two of you guys getting back into the swing of working together. And there's maybe for one, like Pydrick really knows how this thing, the repulsive engine works.
I worked on this engine last week. Something exactly the same.
And Ara is the one who kind of like, when you run into issues with like, oh shit, are we going to, and Ara just gives you a little tip of like, oh no, just do it this way. And there's a little workaround you can do. So like, it's a relatively fast process. A couple things here. For one, with a roll that good, there's a couple things you can pick up from this. For one, there's no way that this thing has remained stationary for the, what did he say? Like 10 years or 5 years or however? That's just not the case. This engine is maintained. This engine has been used and has been used within the last month. Second, the level of disrepair that it's at is an intentional kind of ruse. It's made to look like it is put. Imagine, you know, trying to clean stuff up or trying to like put things together, and then partway through realizing like, oh, this is a puzzle that is coming together.
So I guess that's why it's so quick to put back together, because it's like, oh, someone's just unplugged this, and someone's just like took this out and put it in the wrong place. This looks almost malicious.
Yeah, like someone has the look of a thing that's been scavenged, just like anything else that, you know, Ara does on the other side of the village when she's recovering stuff, but someone has pulled bits out and hidden them somewhere. So there would be a transponder on here too. Like, you know, you're not going into space, but traveling in the ocean, it's important for people to know where the fuck you are or to find you if you run into trouble and have emergency stuff. You know, it might have some intel in there. I mean, if someone's trying to be sneaky about it, they may have altered it or wiped it altogether and then just assumed that it's, you know, because it's been locked down. But maybe you could find something?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll suggest that, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm also worried. See, we were going on the assumption that no one has used this in years, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And therefore it won't be missed. But given all of this, it might very much be missed when we take it out.
Yeah. And this is not a matter of, like, imagine if you know, intentionally took apart your engine, but then squirreled away in your garage all the parts that you would need. So it'll have the look of something that's been picked over by, you know, someone like Ara, but if you need to get it back together, it's a matter of a couple of hours of work in order to get there, and all the parts that you need are here. You may have come in, Pydrick and Ara, thinking like, okay, we're going to need to grab some bits, we're going to need to get some replacements, this will take us a little bit. It's going to be an afternoon of work to get this thing up and running. And once you realize that, you know, one or two of the pieces are here, you sort of get into the, like, you know, if we look around hard enough, we're going to find the stuff we need for this. So I mean, I think that Vil and Crescent will arrive back at the skiff, and this is pretty much par for the, like, it's not too different from any of the skiffs that your ancestors would have used, Crescent. So and I mean, I say ancestors, I mean like a generation back, like your parents, your father, his father, the other fisher folks in the village. They would have used skiffs very similar to this thing. This is just, you know, poorly maintained. The environment on Bretendi is not incredibly forgiving to unattended vessels. But as you guys get on board, you can see Ara and Pydrick seem to be like looking for stuff along here, and then you would see like, found it, and they'll bring it over.
Well, what are you two doing? Hey, how's it going? Sorry.
Oh, hey, Crescent.
Just business quickly. Why are you looking around?
Someone's been hiding parts of the skiff so that people wouldn't be able to get this up and running maybe as quickly. But if they knew where they were, it won't take them no time to get this thing back up and running. This ain't been out of use for as long as went and fought. Yeah. But it won't take us long now. We're well on our way.
That sounds like a lot of work to make it seem like the skiff's not usable.
Yeah, we were going to check the transponder thing, and maybe we can try and work out where it's been lately.
Yeah, it looks like the town drunk has a few secrets up his sleeves.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Sounds kind of shifty.
Will, what do you know about this?
Throw a glance towards Vil.
Vil as someone mentions shifty.
Yeah, we all look at Vil. Something shifty.
Me?
Vil,
You know anything about this, Vil?
Vil, you could give us a gather information check if you like.
Okay.
See if you've heard anything about Brooke aghast.
Together. And
Is he running in the same
Nat
circles?
20.
Nice.
So-
I know everything.
A couple things that you know. For one, you have seen Brooke sneaking off in this direction before. Now, it was when you were sneaking off in a direction, so I mean, like, we're not going to talk about that, but you definitely have seen, now that it's mentioned, like, Brooke has made his way off in this direction. I think you assumed, like, that this old drunk is going to get himself, you know, soused on his own ship or his old boat. But yeah, he's been gone, and one of the things, Vil, I mean, you happen to know that, Imperial Customs or Imperial tariffs are punishing for anybody, and, like, no one wants to pay tax to the Empire. So when they need to get parts or things like that, sometimes you're able to find them for people without having to go through official channels. And, you know, there's been some stuff that's come in, unusual electronic stuff, and you don't know for sure who it's going to, but the place that you're dropping things off, now that you think of it, like, on more than one occasion, you've been paid by somebody in town to acquire certain bits of tech, comm tech in particular, and deliver it to a drop point on the like this side of the village. You don't know who's been paying you, but they have been paying you. You don't know what they're doing with that stuff. But it kind of makes sense that it would be Brooke, because you can't think of anyone else who necessarily would do it. Where he'd get the money to pay for that stuff, you don't know. The fishermen on Retendi didn't really get warning that the Empire was going to come and impose the aquaculture, so no one got savings to live off of. So where the hell's this guy getting his money? But if it is him. But yeah, with a nat 20, you know what? Like, you wouldn't have put it together. You just thought, oh, maybe he's up to some shenanigans. Brooke may be up to more shenanigans than what you realize. So if you can gain access to that transponder, the intel likely is it's got likely a dummy code on it or something like that, but just because of they need to function for safety reasons, they're quite durable, so there may still be some code that a keen slicer may be able to pull out of there that would support your suspicions.
Let's see, I'm not the slicer. Who probably is? I would guess it would be Ara.
I have some familiarity with computer systems.
I mean, if you had L8 here, that might be better, but...
Why don't we see if we can slice into that transponder and see if we can figure out where he's been going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you'd like, Pedrick is going to continue working on the engine, I guess, and Ara, you're going to take a look at the...
Yep.
Okay. Why don't you give us a computer use check, please? You could take a 10 on it as well, just before you roll. You could take a 10 because this is one of those things you just need to take time. It may take you, if you take a 20, it'll take 20 times as long to do it, which means you'll be doing this still while you guys are out on the ocean. But that's not a bad, I mean, you'll still be able to find the information. It's going to take you a lot longer.
If I can take 10, I'll do that.
Okay.
That'll be a 17.
Yeah, so what you know from taking the 10 is that this has definitely been altered. Just looking through it. So whether you're able to get more information, you could potentially make a roll for it when you've got more time to work. Or you could take a 20 and just start your work, and I'll let you know when you've completed sufficient time in order to access it. So I think it's late afternoon when Pedrick is finished up with the engine. Sorry, David, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I think, Arrow will confirm to the others that it has been tampered with and will then do the take 20 and in the background work on this.
tampered with? Like someone deliberately doesn't want you to know where it's been?
Yep.
Crescent looks at Vil again. Like,
Look, I just, it was just a hunch, But I have seen, things from Brucka out here. I just never really thought too hard about it.
okay. You want me to pilot this boat?
Well, you're certainly going to be better at it than I am.
So, what is your destination then? Because the reason I ask is Crescent has a neat ability, trailblazing. You can make a survival check to reduce the travel time by 25% on a DC 15 or 50% on a DC 25.
Yeah, so where are we going?
Harbor 10 is where you're dropping off this thing.
Hydric, we're heading to Harbor 10. Is that the deal?
Yeah, we got to find this Salik who Wenton knows. It's his boat.
It's his engine.
Well, his engines, would I say. We're taking the skiff.
Okay, so we're taking this engine to Harbor 10.
Yeah.
All right. We can do that.
Plan, Stan.
How did the engine get here?
You mean
Arrow
like...
will just
Yeah.
like the one with transporting back. Arrow will just suddenly go like, wait a minute, like if we're like, how did?
I don't know.
Why would they fix an engine here that was in Harbor 10? Patrick, have you looked at the engine?
Yeah. No, it looks good. I think Wenton put it together, in fact.
Yeah.
Are we transporting something other than an engine? Have we looked around? Because if we get boarded by like an Imperial, there's patrols. I'd like to know if at least, we're transporting more than an engine.
Well, Wenton wouldn't put me in danger. And I sort of lean in and whisper, he did say Vil might try and bring something that we shouldn't.
Now.
I think, Vil, you could give us either like knowledge, streetwise, or sleight of hand check. If you'd like. Either of those would be like a way of knowing if something's hidden. I will tell you, it would be extraordinarily out of character for your father to be trying to smuggle something and to try and rope you in on it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't have the knowledge streetwise on my sheet.
I think maybe the bottom of the list, because I think that's where you have
it's at the very.
Knowledge are an add-on below the bottom of the list.
Oh, there it is. I see it, Kevin.
Okay.
There was a couple blank spaces. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I mean they're both the same. Let's just go. I don't get any bonuses.
It'll be different information, I think, that you would gather,
right,
depending on which one you pick.
Let's see. Yeah, let's just roll streetwise. I think that makes more sense. I don't know though. He's directly examining it.
Mm.
So yeah, okay. Let's roll. Where it is? There it is. Bam. Not bad.
Sleight of hand. So you go quickly go down and you're searching around and checking this thing, and like, there's all the places you can think of where you would have a little smuggling compartment or a place to like. This is solid repulsor lift engine. It's in like, I think the limited amount of I can't remember. Do you have training in repair at all?
No, I don't think so at all.
Didn't listen to Dad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, as far as you can tell, this looks like. I mean, that your dad worked on this from what Pydrick told you, but like this looks like a fresh off the line engine. There's probably not a private skiff within, 500 kilometers that has an engine that's in as good a shape as what this thing is. But no smuggling compartments you can find on it. No hidden things, no things that have been secreted inside.
Okay, yeah.
What do you say?
I mean, I'm no gearhead, but I don't see anywhere where you could stick something. Everything looks in place.
Well, I wasn't insinuating that your dad would do it, but I was just wondering maybe the people who he was dealing with maybe trying to pull a fast one. Because I don't know. Does it make any sense to you guys that someone from Harbor 10 would send an engine here to get fixed? Like, I don't know.
But Wenton, he's a great engineer. You won't find a better engineer at Harbor 10. I'll tell you that now.
Fair. All right. So then, Harbor 10, that's where we're heading.
Okay.
Let's get rolling.
Crescent, why don't you give us a survival check, please? All right. Now, first off, are you shooting for 15 or are you shooting for 25?
How fast do we want to go? I can reduce the speed by 25%, or I can try to cut it down for 50%, but that's really tough.
And I'll tell you that
whichever keeps the MacLeod at bay, please press it.
Yeah, and that's the consequence of failure, is that a failed shortcut may leave you in Narglatch territory. Narglatches are about the size of, I'm trying to think here, about the size of a small sedan or a land speeder. So.
I'll do, yeah, but I got a +10 on survival. So DC 15 is I'm only aiming for a 5.
And you have force points available.
And I have force points available.
Do it.
All right, we'll go DC 20, DC 25.
Nice. Let's see.
Yeah, let's have an adventure. Right. Oh, look at that. I might need to use a force point.
Okay, so 1d6, please.
No.
Now, you could spend your second force point.
Really?
Yep.
2 of them? Oh, all right. That's almost guaranteed, but not quite a guarantee. I need a 2.
There you go. Also, we hit 8 o'clock. Sorry, my time. So you guys would have got another force point. So that leaves you've got a route that is scheduled. So it's only going to take you a day and a half to get to Harbor 10. It's going to be a day and a half out on the ocean again. Crescent, you're out there as often as you can be with it, but Ara, Pydrick, and Vil, when was the last time you think you were out on the ocean? Certainly not on a fishing skiff necessarily, but
I don't think I ever have been. I think it's been locked to the the sort of repair desk or the workshop. I don't think ever left the town, basically. Apart from maybe with the parents, but yeah, I don't think so. This would be like real new territory for me. I've heard loads of story from Crescent about driving or out on the waters. But...
What about the rest of you guys? Vil, Ara?
Vil doesn't like the water. He's been out here, but he's not a fan of it. And I think part of it is, I think part of it's kind of like the I don't like sand bit. You know,
yeah.
He's been so exposed to it, he's just sick of it.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since he's been out.
And Ara?
Yeah, I think Ara has been out a few times. I'm sure there are some of these large aquaculture parts that sometimes break apart or where there's good salvage to be found. So I'm sure she's been out a few times trying to get some rarer parts from abandoned droid transports or other sort of aquaculture related bits that are maybe not like days and days out in the ocean, but yeah. So she's been out a few times. She doesn't mind it.
Okay. And I think one of the things you find, Crescent, as you're looking around on this, battered old skiff, you find an old hollow map that the things have. And when you activate it, what you can see is it actually has all the old names of the communities on them. So you know your parents sometimes still slip up and refer to Harbor 7 as Civic's Cove, which is what its name was for thousands of years before the Empire came. And it actually has the name of Widden's Edge, which is Harbor 10. And you can kind of see, like, while you are familiar with all of them by their imperial designations, every one of the different communities, you can see all the different names they had before.
As we're flipping along, I think Crescent looks back to the crew and they're nearby, and he's like, "Hey, you guys are really lucky that I didn't go out today. Yeah, someone smashed a hole in the bottom of my boat, so it's really convenient that." You guys know who would have smashed a hole in the bottom of my boat?
That's a good question.
So what was that, Phil?
I said that's a good question. I was trying to think why. I guess who or why somebody would do that.
Is anyone else fishing like you, Crescent? Have you got any rivals?
Not that you're aware of.
Well, no, the Imperials.
Yeah, but you know what would happen if the Imperials caught you.
I wouldn't have a boat, and I'd be locked up.
Like I'll tell you, like you don't like to think about it, about how how correct your father may be on this, but like you've heard stories of ships that are just found adrift with nobody on them, because the Imperials, when they find someone out, they take them. They don't give a shit about the crappy old fishing skiff. So
it can't be the Imperials. They'd have just blown the thing up, probably, or taken it away,
Or waiting for me to show up and
or arrest you. Yeah.
It is a lucky coincidence, or maybe a bit too convenient, that on the one day where your skills are really needed, your skip is conveniently damaged, preventing you from going out on your own ship. But
yeah, definitely. Anyway, strange.
Things to contemplate as you guys are setting out. Let me get you set up here. I'm assuming you're trying to avoid any of the other communities as you're making your way out.
Yeah.
Is that right, Crescent?
The right thing to do.
Yeah, we don't want to get spotted by anyone.
Okay.
I think Ara will be scanning for Tokla's skiff.
Okay.
Just like, hopefully, come on, he must be here somewhere, that bastard.
Yeah, and I think they said they were going to. Well, if you were overhearing it too, they said they were going to Harbor 28 afterwards. It's actually not that far off from Harbor 10. While the Imperials are thorough in their application of designations, they're not necessarily consistent with it. So, let me bring you over here, guys. I'll show you what your view is for the next day and a half. So, this is where you'll be out. And Crescent, how are you feeling being behind the wheel of and in spite of its appearances, this fishing skiff is actually it's pretty peppy as far as fishing skiffs go, and it's pretty well maintained.
Yeah, it probably handles fairly clunky, but the controls are actually responding the way they're supposed to.
Yeah. And I think that what you find is the fishing stuff has been decommissioned. So if you are subject to inspection, no one's going to think that you're fishing illegally.
Yeah, we're just running an engine.
Yeah, and like the amount of places, Cressy, you would have at least in mind an idea of what kind of excuse to offer. Every season, the Imperials make new changes to the licensing requirements for it, and they always change them. It's almost as if they're just planning to trip you up, so that if you're not staying completely on top of where you're allowed to fish, at what time, and what you're allowed to fish for there, that you're going to get caught and charged and whatnot. It's as if they're trying to bureaucratically drive all the fishing business out of, or all the fishermen out of business. But you've got an idea of how to do that. Vil, you made an interesting point before about, or one of you guys made a point about the smuggling too. Does anyone want to make sure that there is no other stuff on board?
Yes, I could search the boat.
Okay. So no one thought about that beforehand, so let's do a check while you're out on the ocean. This sounds terrific. If you're going to do that, I think probably knowledge streetwise, or
got search as well. Yeah.
Search is probably the one that would use. Yeah, search actually.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Can we assist with this in any way?
Yeah, I think like knowledge streetwise could be used to assist, but not to do the actual task. DC is 15 with anyone who is assisting. Search could also be used to assist as well.
I'm gonna try and assist with search.
Okay. Nice. I'm just gonna double check. I think it's 15 in this game is the DC.
Okay.
Normally, I think.
Yeah, it's normally 15 for these games. It's 20 in like the first edition of PF2, and then they dropped it down to 15 with remaster. Go untrained. Using skills. Oh yeah, you know what? This is what I'll give you. Vil, if you're gonna be the one making the check, I'll give you a synergy in your roll, so you get +2 because of the knowledge streetwise.
Cool.
And anyone else have something they might want to help with? No. Vil, okay, so that'll be 17 plus 4, so that's 21.
Nice.
Okay. So as you're looking around on here, what you find, and this is about at near the end of day. Actually, it's probably the evening by the time you guys are there. So give me a sec here, guys. Kev, are we just going to have to look at the same soothing picture of the ocean for the entire session? We'll hold on to... Oops. Your bantha saddles, guys, because... Boom!
Yes.
So this thing is still chugging along. I think if Vil is taking the lead on this, it is near the bridge, such as the bridge. I don't know if you would call it a bridge on a boat like this, but the driver's seat or whatever. You're in there and you're just kind of, you've been conducting a thorough search. Tell us a little bit about, or give us a little insight into your process for trying to find where, you know, where this hidden stuff might be.
I think the first thing is kind of, you look at stuff that's just like non-standard, like if there's like a box or a tarp or things like that, you know, that's the first place he's going to kind of look. Mm-hmm. And then he's looking at that. Then he starts looking for, okay, missing screws, you know, things like that in the plating, you know, and places he know would be most likely to be hollow.
Yeah.
Non-contained equipment. So that's kind of his process as he works down in his mind. Okay.
So you're doing so, and then you you find, as you're standing in the bridge, you know, later at night, you can imagine that there's the sound of the wind, there's the sound of the waves, but and there's the, you know, the two moons are up, so you've got some light cast on the water, but largely the only light is coming from your ship, from Brooke's boat or skiff. And as you're looking at this thing, you realize, like, there's the inbuilt kind of comm unit and there's a second one that's been like a more upgraded one that's been added, but they haven't disassembled they haven't like put the new comm unit in here to replace the old one. They have left the old one in place. The sort of what's the word I'm looking for here? The not apparatus. It's the
receiver
manifold, I guess, that would hold the thing is still in place there. You're like, that's weird. And you go underneath and you can feel there's a little secret latch, and you hit that thing and you pull it open. And what comes out is, I don't think you need to make a roll for this, but it is a decrypted, or like a device that would be used to encrypt communication. The secondary unit that's up there, you could pretty much, with a little bit of pulling wires and plugging things in, this would make it so that communication would be encrypted.
Is it is it like brand new high tech kind of, or is it
brand new high tech?
Okay.
You don't know for certain, but I think if Pydrick happens to be on there or Ara happens to be on there, either of them could tell you, like, that's Imperial tech.
Oh, wonderful. Somebody stole something. And is either using it or smuggling it.
So if, let's say you're all on the kind of staying together in the bridge, either, sleeping on there or whatnot, someone else could be there when Vil finds this as well, if you want to comment on it.
Ara, what do you make of this?
Yara's looking up from where she's still working on the transponder, and so looks over. Like, ooh, that's Imperial. What's that doing on a skiff like this?
That's a good question.
I guess this just full of secrets.
Indeed.
Would Ara be able to tell if this has been scrounged from somewhere or sort of custom?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Acquired? Like, did someone go to shop and buy this, or did they sort of remove it from another piece of technology?
This is the kind of thing that would be used. It would not be in theory, it could have been attached to something permanently if you're constantly using a coded thing, but it's the kind of thing that Imperial agents or those making use of Imperial tech would use in order to encode their communication. In theory, like anybody who has this could, with someone else who has the corresponding code, could communicate with them in a secure manner, and that would just require someone having a similar device on the other end. So again, an Imperial issue thing. Now, whether that means it's someone you're not aware of any, well, the Holo News may have news of some, residual kind of insurrectionist groups on other planets, those who are reluctant to the direction of the Empire, or the influence of the Empire on their local, governments and cultures. There's no insurgency on Rutendi. So it could be that there's an insurgency you're not aware of. It could be that this is an Imperial spy. That would not be a surprise that there are Imperial spies on the planet. But it also could just be criminals. There's not really an organized crime presence on Rutendi either that you're aware of. So Vil may know something about that.
I should say, if there is one, I'm going to know it.
Yeah. Like Rutendi, because it's so critical to sort of the supply chain for the Empire with these aquacultures that have been put in, none of the major cartels are active here. The Hutts, the Black Sun, the pikes. So it also looks relatively new. Like, this is not something that's been kicking around for ever. It's got that same shiny, black quality that Imperial tech has. So what do you guys make of that?
Have we finished searching the rest of the boat? I mean, is there nothing else? Any sort of cargo?
No other cargo. No illicit cargo on here. There's nothing else that would get you in trouble if you were subject to an Imperial inspection.
And what would happen if they found that on our boat?
Very likely you would be taken into custody for, at the very least, questioning.
And there's nothing stored on it. It's just a means of communicating. It's not like holding any messages that have gone back and forwards. Yeah. Well, can't we just dish it over the side? We don't want to get caught with that.
Whoa. Let's not get
I mean, this is some prime technology, and I'm sure Brooker would be livid if we just ditched it.
Yeah.
Also, not for nothing, Ara, like, this is very valuable. You could get...
I mean...
Well, and if Brooka knows this is on board...
I'm sure he does.
Brooka sent us with this without telling us this is on board, and... yeah.
Well,
there might be people on the other end waiting for this, right? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like...
we borrowed this skiff without him knowing. How?
Without him knowing?
Well, we were specifically directed to this. Like, no offense to your dad, Bill, but is there more to him than meets the eye? Like, we were specifically directed to this skiff after someone made sure we couldn't use Cresset's skiff.
You wouldn't have been able to fit Cresset. You can picture Cresset's thing is more like a catamaran. Than an actual skiff. Like, there's no way you could have had the four of you plus the repulsor lift engine on that.
But they made sure Cresset was available by not being out on the ocean.
That is correct.
This is all. I mean, I'm no criminal mastermind, Bill, and I'm not saying you are, but this all feels very like one of your long-term plans. The long con. Could this be? Are we pawns in some sort of?
I mean, what is my father's political?
He is not signed on with the, with the, like, your father. Given his skills, he certainly could have gone to work in the droid shack. Definitely. In fact, Cresset's father gave up his fishing career, sold the boat to... I mean, this is just rumorsville, but you've got your finger to the ground. What you heard, before he got injured, Cresset's dad bribed his way in to running the droid shack. It wasn't long before he suffered that injury that required, the cybernetic limbs that he has now, but he's not... that job, if it had not been for Cresset's father taking it initially, your dad could have taken that. But he didn't. He's kept servicing everybody locally. He's undercharged people. That he's got to have no savings left at this point because he's been insisting on keeping Pydrick paid. Pydrick's got people to care for too, so she can't just volunteer her work.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first substantive work that your father's done probably in like 2 years. That isn't just penny ante shit of like repairing a food processor or something like that. But no, he's not someone who... Nobody likes the Empire. Fuck the Empire. But what are you going to do about it?
I'm going to put it back where it was. I mean, this is not... If we... let's see, how would I phrase this? If we were arranged to smuggle this to 10, then we shouldn't interfere with that. somebody knows more than we do. And I think now Ville's cautiousness and, you know, knowledge of criminal enterprise is coming to the forefront in his mind. He's like, we're just couriers. We're just messengers. We're not anything else. We don't need to be fooling with this. Yeah, he's very much getting paranoid. He's like, put it back exactly the way I found it.
Only better.
Okay.
If you found it. I mean, like, you're good at finding things, but like, we don't want somebody else to find it.
Right.
Okay. The encryption unit is back where you found it and in exactly the same state that you found it in. It's later that evening, Ara, when you've complete your analysis of this, and there is sufficient data on here for you to be able to pull out some other details. And what you can find is that in the last 2 years, at least, this thing it's been wiped multiple times. So you're kind of getting cascades of like each individual trip for the data that you're able to kind of tease out from it and piece together. It's at least 10 different communities that the ship has been to. And it's also been to Central. Now, because the Empire did not want to, well, maybe because the Empire is the Empire, rather than taking one of the existing smaller communities on Retendi, which is pretty much the only places that are on Retendi, they built their own city to serve as a capital for the planet. And so if you can picture a cross between like a massive oil platform and kind of the big landing platforms we saw in Return of the Jedi, imagine what the Imperials would build as a city with hundreds of those platforms kind of stacked together. That's Central. There are at least once every 6 months trips to Central as well. Central has become kind of the major spaceport. So people going in and off planet, people bringing things in. It's rare that you see folks just going directly to the communities now. Imperial taxes, you know, they need to be paid. So you go through there, you pay them, and then it's distributed out. Now, of course, Vil, you would know that the middlemen will take their cut as well. So by the time the shit gets to any of the communities, it's often too expensive to afford, which is why everyone uses the community-issued boots and the community-issued uniforms and things like that. So, but Ara, do you share that with everybody? It's very late. You certainly could. Somebody is still up. Perhaps Crescent still operating the skiff.
Yeah, I think I would. If I can sort of display it on the screen with like the routes and sort of, that would sort of show me excitedly. Finally cracked it. And very busy man.
Holy. He's gone all the... into Central?
Is there a pattern, Cav, of he goes to Central and then visits different communities? Like, does it look like he's going to Central, say, picking something up or getting information and sort of...
No.
Heading to the other communities?
Although there are times where in the last 2 years, it's been a matter of leaving Harbor 7 and then going to like Harbor 28, Harbor 12, Harbor 2, and then making your way back, or just doing a single trip to one of the communities. The trips to Central seem to always be directly Harbor 7 to Central and back.
I don't know what to make of this, but he's definitely involved in something.
Yeah. I wonder if the delivery to 10, I wonder if he's delivering similar items aside from the engine. You know, like if he's encrypted coding devices to different harbors, and what would you be doing?
Maybe we can ask him when we get back.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, this device alone is worth so many credits. Like, all four of us could just leave this planet and just, yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see who picks it up. You know, is he helping the locals or is he helping the Imperials?
I hope it's the locals.
I'm hoping it's locals.
That's where I think we leave things for the rest of the evening. The next morning comes, and it should be another day and evening of travel, and then you should be able to reach Harbor 10. Or, you know, knowing the correct name, Widden's Edge. Crescent, I think you're out on the, you know, the bow of the skiff. Got your electro binoculars up and kind of, you know, scanning the horizon. You hear something that's being carried out over the waves too. It draws your attention. It looks like there is a speck, and it's moving too evenly to be a bird, and too fast, for that matter, to be any kind of avian. So you zoom in, and I'm not sure you've seen one in person before.
Yeah.
Making its way along the nape of the horizon. And it's just, we could barely see it. It's only by virtue of the, you know, electro binoculars that you're able to spot this thing. The others are probably napping or, you know, just maintaining the engines. It's very early in the morning.
Go wake everyone up. I'll probably start with Ara, or Hydric, or Vil.
So you sort of like hit all of them. All of you guys are kind of, you've been sleeping.
Anybody order a TIE fighter? Incoming.
What?
If you guys look over, you can see it's moving on the horizon. And does everyone have electro binoculars, or is it only some of you?
I think it's only some of you. I don't think I have any.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ara, you get yours up as well in time to see this thing. It's moving along, and then it suddenly, it seems as if it's slowing down, and then you realize it's turning and heading in your direction.
Well, we've been spotted.
What do you guys do? You've got about...
Everyone look casual.
Yeah, maybe stay asleep. Two of you stay asleep, and I'm gonna get back behind the wheel, and yeah.
Well, it can't land, surely.
No, but it can talk to somebody else and tell them where we are.
Well, it's already too late for that. It knows we're here.
You can picture in your mind the sound of it getting louder, because it's carried directly across the waves. And it just keeps getting louder and keeps getting louder.
We can't outrun it.
No.
But we can outrun maybe what it's sending after us. Okay, so obviously I don't know this, but I mean, just in general, geographically, like, where are we? How far are we away from where we were? To how far away were we from where we're going?
You're at least a day's travel still. until you reach Harbor 10. You're in the middle of open ocean.
That was going to be my next thing. I'm in the middle of open ocean.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the horizon.
No land. You guys have intentionally sort of caught a shortcut that's going to bypass any other communities and also avoid any of the places you're most likely to run into narglatches.
Yeah.
So you're sort of all kind of looking at each other. This thing is suddenly upon you, and for those who have seen that first season of Andor, it does a great job of just how fucking loud these things must be for unprotected ears, where it's just wow. Yeah. And this one flies, 10 meters above the skiff.
Damn it.
And then almost as suddenly it's just there, your ears ringing. It continues going in the direction that is the opposite direction, and it does not turn.
Okay, so it was going this way and then turned around, crossed over us, and kept going back that way? Is that what I'm understanding? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what Crescent, you could give us you've got a knowledge retendi, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See what you know about the local situation here. No clue. I mean, you do have a force point, so you could spend that if you'd like, but
not very good. Not a very good roll.
I don't think you've had this happen to you ever.
Maybe Chris is thrown off by the TIE fighter, and so he's like just kind of brains feeling a little scrambled right now.
Yeah. But what you guys can see is this thing almost like a howling animal in retreat. It just keeps getting quieter and quieter and smaller, and then it seems to slowly arc off and continues in the direction it was initially flying. I'll leave you to contemplate what that might mean as we take our mid-session break, because we're already at the mid-session, guys. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Alrighty. Let's check one thing. Hey, everybody at home. Happy Star Wars Day to everyone. I hope you are having a great start to your May 4th. Or your May 4th is treating you well if it's later in the day for you than it is for me. Let's see here. Okay. Guess I can get something else ready while I'm waiting here. Okay. I hope everyone is getting a chance to get their own Star Wars game to the table today. If you have the opportunity, or if not today, soon. All right. Okay. I think, did I give a force point for 9 o'clock yet?
You did 8. Well, you said 8.
8 o'clock. Okay, so 9 o'clock. Yeah, so it's 9 now. So we'll, everyone will get another force point.
Okay.
And I think because you're spending, or you're able to spend more than one, I don't think that's rules as written, but we're going to play that way today. Won't bother with the exploding dice because it just, you already,
yep.
Those points are there to be used. All right. So while we are waiting for the others, anything that Pydrick or Ara want to do for this, the rest of this day? It's otherwise going to be, I mean, I'm assuming watching this horizon for other TIE fighters or Imperial interdictors, but there is nothing else that will happen today.
That tech we found, is there any way of sort of knowing if that was a sort of any sort of beacon, or, you know, would the TIE fighter be able to identify it? Was it on? Could you tell if it was like
I think
on, giving out power, or?
So you could take a 10 on, let's see here. Oh, you've got that ability where you've got like a flat bonus with all intellect. Yeah, you got +7 with all intelligence skills. Tech specialists can have this super fucking cool ability.
If you haven't got,
points. I think and what I'm thinking is it would be like a knowledge. It would be some kind of knowledge tech of some kind with it. So you've already got that. You could take a 10 on it. Two things is, one, it's not an independently powered device. It's a thing that would require a device from something else. And
connected. Yeah.
While in theory there could be a transponder hidden within it, that's not what this device is for. Okay. This device is to have, you know, secret conversations, not to, you know, to fucking thing. Go away. There's a thing with Windows right now where on whatever version I've got on here, there's this fucking pop-up of like all the news articles and other bullshit that shows up. It just showed up on mine, so apologies for those at home for that. It doesn't do it on my other computer, but on this one, for whatever reason, when I log in, I suddenly have to wait for this stupid thing to display for a couple minutes. I need to disable that before our next session. Anyway, what I'd asked the guys is whether there's Ara and Pydrick have anything else they want to do for this day, because you have a full day of travel across the ocean. The TIE fighter, whatever it was doing, does not come back, and there is no Imperial interdiction force that shows up either.
Okay.
I mean, I was thinking I'd also look for anything that would identify this boat as something to do with, keep away. This is doing imperial business type thing. Is there any sort of markings on the top of the
Not that you can
boat
tell.
that you wouldn't see without climbing on top of the roof or
If you do
anything like that?
clamber up there, nothing you can tell.
It just seemed to sort of come over and then sort of go, oh yeah, and went off again. It's like,
Right, I mean, it does look like a decrepit old skiff from the air, so maybe they've just decided that we're not worth the bother.
oh yeah, that's definitely the case, possibly as well. But
And one way I think that Crescent or Vil would be able to tell you as well is that the fact that the fishing equipment, that like the sort of, it's not trawling equipment, but it's something similar, it's been completely disabled or removed. So the TIE Fighter has sensors on it that would be able to provide some kind of diagnostic scan. If it picked up that there was no fishing stuff on here, then the thought is either it's a smuggling ship or it's a thing. Could also be that it's, the interdiction force is either occupied elsewhere or it needs to coordinate with and match up with where you are. Which means that if it's going to plan, if there is an interdiction that's coming, do you want to carry on your course that you're headed right now? Because you are sort of directly headed towards Harbor 10, or do you want to try and redirect to sort of throw them off the scent? Although, if you do that and they detect it, really no faster way to look like a smuggler than trying to avoid Imperial interdiction.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Keep the course. Yeah, don't look suspicious.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, we're transporting an engine. That's what we were hired to do.
Okay.
Oh, actually, quick question. If we were to be interdicted, like the guns we have,
It's fine.
like Ara has some guns on it, that would be fine, right? That'd
Yeah.
just be-
Like the Narglatches are not the only dangerous thing that's out here. There are one of the things that comes with the abundance of fish is that there are predators that are out there as well, and it's just good sense to have those kind of things. None of you guys have like military issue stuff. You guys have either like blaster hunting rifles or hunting blaster rifles or blaster pistols. So, now the repeating light or the light repeating blaster that Vil has stored down below, there may be some questions about that, but
They got to find it first.
Exactly. So, anything else you guys wish to do or discuss on this day of travel?
Now I'm just thinking about getting us there safe. And who damaged my boat?
I have
If I find the bugger who damaged my boat, they're going to be held to pay.
Speaking of payment, Krasny, you raise a good point. Hydrick, are we expecting payment on the other side? Is there a cut for us? Was anything discussed about how much we're selling these repairs for?
Went and told me that whatever money we're given by this Salek, I could have, and obviously I'll split it with you guys. He seemed to think it would set me up quite well. But didn't give me an exact figure.
So we just get paid well, but not sure how well.
I mean, I trust Quentin. He wouldn't do anything to set me up. So
yeah, we have a soft heart that he often does a pay what you can deal for locals. So we probably shouldn't expect too much from this.
Now, when you say well, is that like enough for R to get L8 back, or?
From the way that he talked about it, Pydrick, I don't know if he gave a specific sum, but Possibly. I mean, it depends on whether you expect that Toklar is going to give a reasonable sum for that. The bad blood between Ara and Toklar is quite significant. So,
but what if I bought L8 back and sold it to Ara for the same price? But maybe we keep the price down.
Well, I mean, Phil's got the long plan in mind here, so I mean, let's
trust me.
Oh yeah, Phil's got the long plan. That's right. Trust
We've
Phil.
all heard that before.
Have a little faith.
So, it is almost like crack of dawn when you guys are going to be arriving at Harbor 10. And I had sort of thought of using a different... Well, let's take a look here. I don't know if this is...
Death and Axes.
Yeah, this will be good. Oh, no. I was going to say a different illustration. I think the colors are a little too bright in this one, but it'll at least give you a sense of a different place. It is not... one thing that is definitely absent here is the person fishing in the foreground. You know, in fact, I think we're just going to stick with the one, because it's going to look very similar to Harbor 7, in fact. The only difference being is you guys have your skiff here now. You're arriving just as I think folks are getting ready to head out to the Harbor 10's aquaculture. So there's people who are heading. It's actually a busy time of day, partly because people are going to be, heading out for the shift on the aquaculture projects, and then also leaving the local droid shed. And it's almost, while the layout of the place is different, and you could tell that this place had a different character at a different point, the droid shed, the skiffs that are bringing the people out to the aquaculture units, and you would probably pass them going in, where it looks like it's, 4 kilometers across of just nothing but fucking aqua farms. All of which is used to create, all of because, it's included in the Imperial propaganda that you have. You're helping to feed the Imperial military. Imperial rations are in part made from the products of Rotendi's aquaculture farms. So when you get to dock, you are definitely getting a lot of attention, because it's, anytime there's a new vessel that comes in, people are curious, and they're certainly curious of who you folks are. I don't think anyone here knows anybody from Harbor 10. But it's a small town, just like Harbor 7, so it probably is the same kind of... Everyone probably knows everybody. Who is going to be operating the repulsor lift to bring the engine out, and who wants to do the talking? Let's try and find this fella.
I'm good with the repulsor lift, but...
Okay.
I'll leave the talking to me.
Okay. Phil, why don't you give us a diplomacy check, please?
Sure.
And then we'll see how. Let's see how.
Yes. Let's see here.
Oh, you want to force point that?
Well, I mean, with a 6, it's still a 14. It's still probably not that good.
You can spend more than 1 force point, and you guys.
Right, I forgot.
Yeah, you did get another force point at 9 at my time. So, top of the hour, you guys would have got another one. You can roll 1 at a time if you like as well.
Okay, so let's do that. So, just 1d6, right, Kev?
Yes, please. That gets you to 11.
And then I will send 1 more.
Okay.
And
there you go, 15.
7 and 8, Virginia.
Yeah. Plenty of folks who are, so they're, you know how to talk to these kind of folks. So what do you say?
And we didn't have a lead on a name or anything when we...
Salak Kether.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, he probably, let's see, so it's like a dock. So, I mean, there's probably somebody that's like a a lead foreman or a dock master or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and identify that person and just go up to them and ask them, say,
So
hey.
there really isn't someone like that here, because there's generally no, you don't need a harbor master if there's no ships coming in, right?
Oh, well, okay.
You could just stop some person, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I could stop some random person, or maybe, yeah, and ask them, hey, excuse me, I'm looking for a Salik Kether.
So I'm just checking one thing here. I'm checking a skill because I'm trying to remember what it is in this game. Oh, is anyone trained in sense motive?
Yeah.
It's a wisdom skill, so your intelligence thing wouldn't apply necessarily.
Nope.
No. So the look that he kind of gives you is like, are you from Central? It kind of gives you an up and down, like you don't look Imperial. It's sort of the impression that he gives from, if you're from Central, you're going to be dressed in more of like drab gray, and you know. So
No. We're from 7.
Oh, what's your business? I mean, and he kind of catches. I mean, Kether, and he gestures up and he gives you directions of how to get there, the way that like a local would. You know, keep your eye out for the house that's got a red roof on it. Take a left there. It's 2 more houses up, and you'll find the place. But there's something weird about the way the guy's, like, he seems. And if you thank him, he's like, oh, no problem. And someone else kind of calls to him like, come on, we got it. And he's like, all right. And they rush out onto the skiff to head out to the aquaculture. You could talk to anyone else as well, too. You've done well enough with your diplomacy check if you want to ask as you're going in. But when you go over Vil, you definitely got the impression something's up with. It's unusual they'd ask if you're from Central, particularly how all of you are dressed. There's not a lot of non-humans who are in service to the Empire, for one. So Crescent alone would suggest you're not, but none of you guys are dressed like your Imperial, authorities or, representatives of the governor.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to say anything to anybody else, because now I'm already paranoid.
So you guys,
Alec, get visitors from Central often?
Are you asking Vil that, or are you asking?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm asking Vil. Like, do they ask if we were from Central before or after we asked for Salik?
It was after I asked for it.
After you asked for Salik. So
yeah, when I mentioned his name.
So
that was
if
the first thing out of their mouth.
Maybe Salik gets visitors from Central often.
Or he's expecting something.
Odd. Yeah, very strange.
Yeah. We must be cautious.
So as you make your way through town, you get the kind of, people aren't suspicious of you necessarily, but they know that you're not from here, right? Yeah. You can imagine when strangers walk through the, away from the harbor into your town, you get the same kind of people who are coming by the time you get up the hill and you're getting closer towards where Salik's home would be. It's really just people who are coming back from the droid shed. And if they are, they're going to be exhausted. It's a long night of work. People are just getting, so if they don't even give you any heed, which makes it when you arrive at Salik's place a little unusual. As you guys are, you pull up in front of this, it just looks like any other, home that you would see. And there is a little Quarren kid who is not outside Salik's house, but who is kind of, playing with something. Maybe there's some local little, like, imagine a cross between like a lizard, a spider, and an octopus. And it's just kind of like little, like, thing that moves itself around on land with tentacles. And he's kind of playing with this thing with a stick. Then he sees you walk up. And the kid says, You're not from here. He points a stick at the covered engine. What you got there?
We're looking for Salik.
Are you from Central?
No, is that important?
Well, someone from Central was here 2 days ago.
There we go.
But Salik's still here, right?
He's here. But he and Mora... I think Mora's maybe stopped crying now.
What happened?
What happened to Mora?
It's not what happened to Mora. It's what happened to Caleb. And the door kind of opens up, and someone, it's his mother. She is Corn as well, and she says, "Crow, your father is trying to sleep, and I am going to be going to bed. Get inside." And he turns and kind of scampers inside. She looks at the lot of you, and she's probably thinking, like, "Are you from Central?" But she does not ask it. The door shuts, leaving you guys in the street.
What happens at this place they call Central?
That's
Imperial City.
it's the Imperial headquarters, basically.
I mean, I know the Imperials are bad, but what would they have done?
They're Imperials. They would have done whatever they wanted to do.
Well, I think I know what the visit was about.
They've taken a child or something?
My family had that visit twice before. And Ara's features sort of harden slightly as her eyes get slightly sort of maybe misty. Wouldn't be surprised if Ether's kid had enlisted, drafted into the grinder that is the Imperial Army.
Oh.
One of those visits if Mora is his wife, the mother hasn't stopped crying since the visit.
Maybe they took others from this place. Maybe that's why they're so worried about Central.
Look, this is all extraneous. Let's go and get paid and get out of here.
Lucky to be Corn. Imperials won't want him.
Yeah. Okay. We'll continue on to where our directions.
You're pretty much across the street from it. You just need to kind of knock on the door if you'd like.
We'll knock on the door. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So you kind of not, activate the little Star Wars doorbell, and there's a bit of a break when the door opens up, and there's a woman who's probably in her, she would be in her 50s, I guess, early 50s. Her eyes are just raw. You can tell she's just been crying, and she has that just absolutely flat effect of someone who's, just crushed by grief. And she looks up and sees, I guess, Vil, you'd probably be up front, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she looks up. Yes?
Hi. My name is Vil. I'm from 7, and I was looking for Salik. Is he here?
And she doesn't even really question. He's around back. And Cress, you could probably pick up, just because your, olfactory glands are just noted to it. Like, she's got the same kind of synthahol stink on her right now that your dad almost always has. He says, "Go around back through the gate. He's there. And the door shuts. The door is wide. The gate leading around to the backyard is obviously, or not obviously, but it's actually wide enough for you to fit this repulsor lift down if you want to try and like move this thing down there.
Yeah, I'll try and steer it through.
If you guys make your way to the back, who's the first one that would be around the corner? I want to know who I'm attacking first. I mean, you're definitely not getting attacked. Don't worry, guys. You're not getting...
That'd be me. I'll take point.
Still initiative.
So, Vil, you're the first one who goes around, and while the repulsor sled makes noise, right? This is also an older one, too, that's kind of, you know, it's well-maintained, but you can only do so much with... So it's making a little bit of noise, too. You come around the corner to find someone who is just... He's slumped in the back seat in kind of like a... There's a little veranda-style thing. And you can see that there's been care taken to try and maintain this backyard. There is similar clinging kind of plants back here, but it has the look of a place that people care about. There's color back here. There is nice little potted plants back here. And there's a lovely little place that probably would be nice, you know, relaxing place to take an evening. There's a guy sitting who looks the same age, human, same age as what the woman who answered the door was. He has, like your father, Crescent, he has a cybernetic limb that looks to be quite old. It's a little better maintained than your dad's, but old nonetheless and just worn out. He is sitting. He has a mostly full kind of square tumbler of what looks like some kind of liquid. But in his other hand, there is a small hollow disk. And it's active, and the blue light is sort of reflecting off of his eyes, which are just wet with tears. And the picture that's on there is a kind of shoulders up profile of someone who has their helmet removed, but all of you would recognize the armor of a stormtrooper. There's a little name underneath there with a designation number, and it's sort of slowly rotating. And he's just staring at this. Until you draw attention to yourself, he's not really gonna know that you're here.
I kind of clear my throat. Are you Salic?
He keeps it looking. He looks over. Yeah. He looks at you and kind of squints. You're Wenton's boy, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. I'm Vil. He asked us to bring this to you.
He looks over. Come on. Come in.
Okay.
Would you like a drink? You've come a long way if you've come from Civics Cove. Sorry. If you come from Harbor 7. And doesn't really wait for you to answer, kind of clink, 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 puts some down, pours them out. As you guys make your way into the backyard, you can hear that someone is crying inside the house again. Not like wailing, but just you can hear it. He says, "Is that the engine?"
Yes.
I don't know I'll have much use for it now, but your dad always delivers.
What seems to be the problem? You seem upset.
He looks up, holds up the thing, and you can see now that underneath the Stormtrooper designation, there's a name, and the name is Caleb Cather. any of you would know, this is sort of the, letter delivered to the door. This is what you get when, Ara, you have 2 of these somewhere in your home. Cal took a job in Central. We couldn't afford the repairs here. He couldn't make the money here. He was making good money. He's a good boy. And he sent it back home. And a year ago, he got a promotion. He told us. He said he wouldn't be home for a while, but the money was more. The Corps. He joined the Stormtrooper Corps. I've never heard of the place he died. But he took the job he gestures at the engine. How's your dad doing?
Same old, same old. More heart than sense.
That's Wenton.
So, what were you going to use this engine for?
We got a license. Deep ocean fishing.
Oh.
It's not the kind of thing, and he kind of taps his leg, I can do. The Caleb, he was going to follow through. He looks, we're Rutendi. We're Fisher. We're fishers. And he puts the hollow disc down and just keeps kind of rotating around with this kid. Now, I'm not going to insult you by looking at it. I know that Wenton did I've got what I was going to pay. Let me get it for you. You don't need to. And he looks at you. You know, you look like him. And your mom.
I never really knew my mom.
Phil, do you think you could sell this somewhere else?
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, the downside, I think with Rutendi lore, you would know, like, it's so hard to make a living as a fisherman at this point. You could make definitely use of this thing, Crescent, if you had access to a skiff as well, but like you're barely scraping by with the stuff that you have. But he says she was the supercharge to his engine. He was always running hot, but boy, she was really something. It was a real loss when she passed. I'll get you your money. Hold on. And he heads inside, leaving you guys outside. I imagine your eyes keep going to that rotating disc once again.
Yeah, just sitting there quietly, just with with the drink in her hand and just like staring off in the middle distance.
And Crescent's thinking, fishermen who can't fish, the equipment just sits and rots. So he's going to pay for this big, fancy engine, and he's not going to use it. And, we're taking all their money just to leave him with a piece of equipment that's not going to get used.
Too, if he got a deep sea fishing license, Crescent, like, that's not fucking cheap. There's got to have been money already spent on that as well.
Yeah.
So otherwise, you guys sit in silence, and he comes out, and he pays 30,000 credits.
Oh my God. I own ship for that.
Split 4 ways, mind, but yeah, so he delivers it. There you go. He slumps down. You can hear the whine in his cyber limb. If you're here, you're welcome to stay for. And he kind of realized, like, it's morning too, right? He's gonna say dinner, but like it's the middle of the fucking day.
Yeah.
I imagine there's nothing to keep you here, and I don't want to impose. And he looks at you. Which one are you? He's talking to you, Phil. You must be
Phil, the youngest.
Right, Phil. Your brother? How's he?
He's dead.
Oh. I'm sorry. He looks up at you and kind of wryly smiles. No father should outlast their sons.
That is a true statement.
You send Wenton my love. And you tell him thank you. He's delivered. And tell him I'm sorry it took so long to pay.
I'll let him know.
All right.
And I'm sorry for your loss.
He looks up at you and he's kind of nods. He can't say anything. He's
right.
Yeah. He just sits down and just picks up the hall display again and kind of sits back down.
Okay. That's our signal to leave, guys.
So you offload the engine and you get the repulsor skiff back towards the vessel. By this time, the shift changes have happened. The streets are empty. You guys make your way back down to your skiff. That's 7,500 credits apiece. You guys say anything to one another as you're loading back up. No one is here to see you off, and you're right to be thinking, Will, that there should be a harbor master here, but
yeah,
how do you pay someone to do a job that's not necessary?
I think he gives R the credits, and he's like, "Don't blow it all gambling."
Hey, I think I've learned my lesson. I don't feel quite right about, like, this must be their life savings, right?
And what? Well, never mind. I think now we can maybe see about getting L8 back.
Crescent, you want to take a shortcut to get back to Harbor 7, or are you going to take the long way round? You could also take the trip to Harbor 28 if you do want to try and get that. Harbor 28 is about a day.
What do you guys say to quick visit to Harbor 28?
We're already out here.
How does that fit into your plan, though, Vil? Wouldn't that make Toklar suspicious if you show up in Harbor 28 trying to buy my droid back?
Well, I don't think we're going to immediately go straight to, hey, buy the droid back. We're going to feel him out. And I want to feel him out a little bit more about what we found in the console.
Feel out, sorry,
Toklar is involved?
I'm sorry.
Did you mean Toklar, Vil, or?
Yeah, Toklar, because isn't this his skiff?
No, this is Bruka's skiff.
Oh, that's right, that's Bruka's skiff.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Toklar's skiff looks...
Okay, so now I'm more interested in investigating Brooklyn, I guess. But we do want to try and get the droid back. So yeah, I say we do that. I say we go for L8.
Okay. So then, Crescent, do you want to try and take a shortcut to Harbor 28?
Yeah, I'll just do the 25% off discount.
Sure. Go ahead and give us a survival check then, please. You want to... I think you've got 2 force points right now, right? There's 25. Yep, there you go. Okay. So, yeah, you're able to navigate away. It'll be... so if you're leaving now, it'll be, once again, like fairly early morning when you arrive at 28. So as you guys, once you see Harbor 10 disappear behind you, tell us what everyone's thinking and doing on this. It's otherwise a long day out on the ocean once again. And one thing you guys may not have, you've searched this thing top to bottom. You have not brought anything else with you. You've got you've got nothing but uncertainty and planning to do. So with nothing else to occupy your time, there's nothing but opportunity to reflect. What do we see you guys doing?
Griffith feels guilty that we took all these credits from them. Basically, maybe not be everything they own, but like for an engine that's they have no use for because they're not going to be able to fish without their son. So it's like, yeah, it's going to help my family, but that's not how I wanted to do it. So I don't know.
Vil has no guilt. Vil is all about himself, and he's thinking, maybe now I could get over to Central, maybe try and get off of this rock. And he's thinking about maybe once we get the droid back, seeing if Ara wants to go with him.
What about Ara and Pydrick?
Ara will be quiet, and at one stage during the journey, there'll be a shot of her sort of sitting off to the side, taking out a sort of little holo display that shows what I guess her friends would know as her brother and her father, who the Imperial Stormtrooper displayed that with her mother back home, but she has her own little before they joined. So just like everyday clothing, like sort of happier times, sort of little display of them. I
imagine as well, like you don't even need to activate them because their faces will be burned in your brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Pydrick?
I think she's thinking about how she can help her parents out with some of this money, and coming up with ideas of how maybe we can get Wenton's workshop to still keep making a business. She don't want him to go out of business and sort of disappear. So yeah, she's thinking about that.
Okay.
Trying to get some sort of contract with, even if it's the Imperials or something, just something to keep them afloat.
Okay. Who is going to be behind the stick at night?
I'm happy to take a stint if Cresset wants to take a bit of a rest from it.
Nav's already plotted. You just need to watch for stuff. And
Yeah, if anything goes wrong, then I'll give you a shout. But
Okay. So Crescent, Ara, and Vil, you're asleep, and Pedrick, you're just monitoring the skiff as it's going along. Your thoughts turning to, you know, what you might be able to finance or repair or whatever else, or how you're able to scrimp by. Maybe even buy the shop. 7,500 is really, that's not really enough to buy a business, but a business that has no income and no significant assets, maybe. That might be your thoughts when then you can kind of hear, ooh, ooh. There is something coming from the comm unit. It's the one that's been installed, like the replacement. And what you pick up is there is a emergency transponder that's been activated that you just got within range of. Ooh. Ooh.
so I'm detecting an emergency.
Yeah. With an active scan, you should be able to pick up some ship ID if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll try and learn as much as I can before our response, sort of thing.
It's the Sea Slough. It is Toklar's vessel. Toklar's
I'd be
ship.
happy to know.
Maybe a half hour of traveling for the distance to it. But it's giving off an emergency transponder.
Okay, top last ship. Okay,
Checking,
I'll,
like, the weather, that's the first thing you would think of. No inclement weather. You check the sort of the climactic feed. Nothing on there. So,
do I think they'd be able to detect us before that?
not before.
No.
And
Not
until
until
you
we've
had
got
the
in
active
range.
scan, you wouldn't be... If they were actively scanning everything around and then watching for stuff coming in, maybe, but you would... The sensors that would be on his vessel, there's no fucking way. You need to have... This is why those transponders are so important for the ships. It's so people can find you in the event that there's trouble.
So I don't think it was specifically us they were looking for. That's what I was trying to ascertain. I think I would try and let Ara know first.
Okay. So, Ara, you kind of wake up, and it's Pydrick who's woken you up.
Wake up. You need to come to the bridge. There's an emergency beacon. It looks like that Toklar. It's his ship, I think.
You get to the bridge, confirm. Yeah, both of you guys know. It's definitely his transponder.
So a lady's nearby.
It's in range for us to pick it up, so yeah, won't take us long to get there. This could be a chance to get your droid back.
Yeah. Well, let's wake the others.
Okay. Crescent, Vil, you're woken as well.
I'll start making a course towards it at normal speed, sort of thing,
Okay.
while she's waking them up.
So if you get up and check, it's precisely, Crescent, what Pydrick says. It's an emergency transponder. It's the kind of thing you put on if your vessel is in distress, taking on water, if there's a catastrophic failure in the repulsor lift. The reason these things look like boats is largely because if the repulsor lift fails, you've got the failsafe of it being buoyant. But, I'll put his vessel, the Sea Slough, back here. Where is it? What are you guys thinking?
I think after the initial excitement of knowing that a lady's nearby and Ara will have a moment of, and will turn to the others. Could this be a trap? Toklar is all sorts of shifty and but what's he doing out here in the middle of the night?
Vil, there's not just because you're the one who's the knowledge of streetwise. It's not really like pirates here, because who are you going to rob, right?
Yeah, man, what are you going to get out of it? Yeah.
But smugglers are, it's not unknown for smugglers to get on the wrong side of each other and for their things to be ugly. And, while there isn't Imperial garrisons at any of the harbors, or at least not that you're aware of, probably not the safest place if other people are looking. Meeting up in open ocean and exchanging illicit goods is a tried and true practice, even before the Imperium got here. So, could be that, maybe?
But surely you don't know it's us. I mean, what sort of crew has he got on that thing?
He has about 8 guys who also work on there. Mix of human and Mon Calamari.
Were there the course that we're on to intercept them? Does that deviate from the course that I've plotted enough that it might be, dangerous wildlife?
It's definitely. So here's some. If you were to have a direct route between Harbor 10 and Harbor 28, this is off that route. The shortcut that you're taking around the stuff, likewise, this is off that route. And yeah, it's into Nargalach territory. It's not where anyone would wisely choose to go. And whatever Toklar's faults are, he certainly knows better than to let the vessel drift into Nargalach territory this time of year.
Yeah, maybe he's taken a wrong turn, or not paid attention to his course very well, and they've been attacked by a Nargalach. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, if they are in trouble, then maybe we can get the robot back for us helping them out.
Thus far, I've assumed you have not tried to contact Toklar's ship or skiff. Do you want to try and contact it?
Yeah, let's find out. If they're being attacked by Imperials, maybe we just pick the droid up later. I mean, sorry.
You message, no response.
Oh boy.
You have about another 20 minutes before you arrive.
Yeah, we've got to check it out one way or the other, surely.
Yeah, I was just kidding. But get the electro goggles out and get up to the bow and try and figure out what we're running into just before we get there.
Okay. I think I've got
somebody on the scanners still.
So it's still the transponder beacon is still on the emergency beacon is still active on the scanner. So you're moving directly towards it. And let me check on the.
Ara, do you want to be on the scanners, or somebody want to be on the scanners to see what's going on when we get there, or in case we pick up another vessel, or?
Let's see. Yeah, I'll do that.
Would you give us, Crescent, a spot check, please?
A spot check? Fabulous. I love it.
Wow. So it is from what the electro binoculars do is not only can you see in daylight, it cuts down. Normally you take a -1 penalty to spot checks for every 4 meters. It changes it to being 20. So it magnifies your sight by, it allows you to see in the dark as well as magnifies your sight. That's a great roll. So you would probably be about 1/4 of a kilometer off when you're looking through and you find the vessel. There's no lighting on the ship right now and no sign of any life other than the large Rutendi Narglatch that is sloughing its way on the top of this thing. And it seems to be, there's like a container. It's the kind of thing you would keep fish in. If you were trying to keep it, it's turned over and it's just munching away of what's in there. And again, this thing's the size of a land speeder. So it's a big beastie.
Slow her down. Let's not go racing in there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe it has lunch and leaves on its own accord. But we're only a quarter kilometer away.
Are they pack animals? Would there be other Naglatch around if there's one of them?
They can, if this thing is knocking fish guts and stuff into the ocean, they can smell that stuff from very far off. So where there's one Narglatch now, given time, there may be more on the way.
So maybe we want to get in there quick then, more than slow down, before the rest of them arrive. We got weapons, right? Maybe we can scare it off.
They're stubborn things, but they're not suicidal. It may take aggressive deterrence. And the thing to consider too is if it turns its attention onto you guys, they're it's not like one hit will sink a vessel, but they can do real damage to skiffs.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, guys?
Can we sneak? It'll probably notice us. I was going to say, it's a beast. Sneak on board. Can I spot the droid?
No sign of the droid on board.
Or
No
the
sign of
crew, or
anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, are there dead crew members around?
Nope, but if a Narglatch got to them, then there probably wouldn't be there would be enough left over for you to spot, but you're actually not seeing. There's the fish guts that are all over here, and they give us a. Actually, no, you would know it.
How would it get the canister open?
There's that, and there's a shit ton spilled across. Like it's either exceptionally careless or someone intentionally spilled fish guts to flow into the ocean, which nobody.
This is a trap. This is a setup. What's Tokar?
No.
They freaking left their skiff with this giant fish container open.
Where did they go?
Toklar, like, again, whatever faults this guy has, he is a fisherman and a smuggler. He makes his money where he can, and gambler, for that matter.
Yeah.
He makes his money where he can. If he's leaving this thing behind, this is what that's his asset. This is not a high-rolling guy.
Yeah, that's, no, they got waylaid.
What are you going to do?
But depending on what he was smuggling into who, it's not necessarily the Naglatch that might have gotten him.
Yeah, there's no sign of any, like there's no boots, there's no other blood. Everything that's on the ship there, it seems to be
normal.
Yeah. There's also
so like
if you're looking around, there's no sign of no sign of blaster fire either. The first thing you do is like you try and deter the Narglatch from getting on board.
So they left the ship with this container of fish open, and because somebody had to set the transponder up. So they got this signal to come help, and then they GTFO'd.
In story of pretending you're dead, maybe Toklar is getting out, and the report is, poor Toklar was eaten by some Naglatch.
I think at this point, the safest thing to assume is that he got attacked by one of these at this point.
What's on our ship?
Nothing. Right now.
Except that Imperial decoder.
Oh, you got the Imperial decoder. Sorry, I thought you were asking.
Yeah.
My Imperial decoder ring.
No.
Can we scan for any other vessels in the area just to see if there's anything?
Nothing with an
we
active
pick up?
transponder. No.
No.
Unfortunately, the
And that
sensors in this are not.
not a long range,
set,
so I guess.
and then not like fine enough to be able to pick up a ship on the ocean.
Would Aura have a way of contacting L8? Or so seeing if he's within range of her comms device?
I think it's reasonable to think that you would have secreted something on board. He was a custom build for you, right?
Yeah.
And so long as Toklar didn't notice that was on there, why don't you give us a repair check, please, Ara? That would have been sort of how you would have, or craft, your choice. So how do you think you do that? Is there a comm link that you use to contact him?
Yeah, I think she's sort of secreted a comm link inside of him, and which is like on a special frequency that isn't commonly used by wider.
So, am I correct in thinking that you probably have had that particular like channel closed since you lost L8? Because he for sure would be trying to talk to you when he's in range, that is.
Yeah, I think maybe initially she would have kept it open, but then it got like too much too, so she would have probably switched it off. I know it's like distracting on the day job too, so I think she would have sort of kept it shut after a while.
So if you activate it or turn it on and activate it, what you very quickly hear from the other side, Ara?
L8, where are you? Are you still with Toklar?
I'm hidden. There's a Narglatch here.
Okay, stay where you are. Stay safe. We're going to deal with the Narglatch. Is
Ara.
Toklar still around?
Are the stormtroopers gone?
Wait, Ara will still look around. I think. Hey guys, no one sees any stormtroopers or TIE fighters, right?
You're looking around, pitch black. They took
I think
Toklar.
they're gone.
They shot one of his men.
Does the droid know why?
You stay where you are. We're going to deal with the Narglatch and get you, okay, buddy?
Ara, there's a Narglatch here.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're going to deal with it. Just stay where you are.
Okay.
As Ara gets her hunting rifle out.
Okay. What do the rest of you guys do?
Hunting rifle.
Yeah, get a weapon. I think a blaster pistol.
Yeah.
Is there anything explosive on their ship that we could shoot? Scare it away?
Hit the ship, Crescent.
Yeah.
Sink
I'm
the
not going
ship.
to blow up the ship while L8 is still on the skiff.
Well, no, we can swoop in and get L8, but if the Narglatches flee in, then that makes it easier.
Gosh.
Hopefully a few hits from a blaster will drive the damn beast off.
All right, give it a try.
Yeah, I think you. So the Narglatch is so distracted by its feast that it's actually not going to pay attention to you guys. So you can tell us how close you'd like to get and what you'd like to do. Let me just get this thing set up here. Ooh. What do you think, guys?
I could take the controls over and try to swoop us in kind of opposite side of the ship so that it doesn't realize we're there.
Just take a few shots at it, try and scare it off, yeah. Get on
Or
as
do you want
quick
to get in close and get a couple good shots off?
Mm.
Yeah, ideally a range that it can't jump straight onto our ship, so it's got to get to us. If it goes aggressive.
So the range bands, I believe it's -2 for each range band in this one, the way it is in a lot of d20 games. Double check.
That sounds... Well, is it 2 and 5?
Yeah, my sporting rifle is only 40 meters, so we need to get in relatively close.
Right. Well, it's only, I think it's up to 10. If I remember, it's 10 is the maximum range, 10 increments, but it's -2 per range increment, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right for 3rd edition.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
Did Ara say something about the stormtroopers?
Yes, yeah, she would have. Yeah, she would have let that. Yeah, because she asked if anyone saw any stormtroopers of TIE fighters. So yeah, she would have shared that.
Yeah, and you guys are like the last Imperial presence you guys saw was
TIE fighter.
The TIE fighter. Yeah, that came by like 2 days ago now. Let's say it's -2. I am sure that's what the case is. Oh, here we go.
Maybe the stormtroopers took everyone away and then shot the lock off to make it look like a Narglach. Cover their trail with a Narglach attack.
Yeah, -2,
you
maximum
know.
10. Here we go.
I
So
don't know what the TIE fighter was looking for. Possibly.
quite possibly. What are you guys going to do then? Sorry, what range? Knowing that it's -2 for each increment beyond the. So if your range has got a 40 for the hunting one, no penalty for 40 kilometer or for 40 meters. -2 up to 80 meters.
Well, if a couple of you got hunting rifles, should get to 40 meters, take a couple of shots at it.
So yeah, well, that 40 meters is like, it's on the ship. How big are the skiffs?
The skiffs are about maybe twice the size of a land speeder, and
10 meters.
Toklar's one is much bigger than yours. It's about twice the size.
So 20 meters long, probably.
Yeah, probably.
So to shoot the Narglach sitting on their skiff, if it's 20 meters and ours is say 10, then we need to be about 10 meters away in the water to stay within 40 meters.
It's also quite big. So like I think you can safely be within 30, like get your ship within 30 meters of it and then just kind of get on the edge and take your shots.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll zoom in.
Okay.
And
so if you get within, say, 50 meters, this thing kind of like looks up at you, but then goes back to eating.
okay. Well, everybody get their stuff ready. I'll actually leave the controls and get my rifle up too. We can all kind of aim at the same time and hopefully.
Well, I'll hold it steady because I've only got a pistol. It's like 10-meter range, so
Yeah.
I'll hold it steady while you guys take a shot.
10 meters just means you take -4 at 30 meters.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you still
I think
use
I'll
it. It's
make
just that it's a penalty.
Yeah, but I think I'll let these guys see how they get on, and then if it's bad, then I'll join in. Obviously, if it
Okay.
seems
Vil,
bad.
you got a pistol, Vil?
Yeah, I got a pistol.
All right, well, get it out.
Oh, it's been out, though.
Okay.
The more damage we do, the better our chances of survival.
So Pydrick is in position. Ara, Crescent, and Vil. Vil, if you're going to shoot with them, then it'll be -4.
Yep.
So,
Will
guys?
Will it prompt that, Kevin?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
that's
it's a
fine.
pretty
Just wanna make sure.
otherwise basic. So we'll just have to do a -4 to your thing. Let me double check and make
Okay.
sure you've got no modifiers or no.
I look, most of my modifiers are short range.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And you got that
Within 10
precise
meters.
shot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, and it'll be flat-footed against your attack as well, so you'll at least have a better chance of hitting. Go ahead and make your attacks when you're ready, guys.
So I've got a
Oh, it's
skill
also
called
10
Heart.
bells my time, so everyone gets another force point.
Force point. Okay.
I've got a skill called Heart. Before I know the outcome, I can gain a +1 to any ability check or attack roll.
Nice. Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna see how I do here.
Okay.
Ooh,
It's a pretty good hit.
No,
22. I probably won't lose
Oh,
it on this one.
your precise attack would also apply to this Vil. You could apply it. +1 to
Really?
hit for 1 attack per round with a dex-based weapon.
Oh, where is that?
That's under your class abilities.
Oh, there is precise attack.
Yeah, like it's one of
I
the.
forgot about that.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
just
looking
it's a
at my
little
things.
different from the way it is in 3.5.
Yeah.
So
I
Okay.
think he would do a +1 on the attack since he's got a penalty.
yeah, definitely. So it'll be
So-
-3 to yours.
Yep.
All right, so Ara, would you care to spend any force points on that? Right now, you
absolutely.
yeah, that's a miss by 4. You need to. It's not AC in this game. I don't know why the sheet says it. It's defense, but there you go.
There you go.
All right,
Force
so-
is with me.
8 points of damage from, and remember, damage reduction does not apply against vitality damage. Let me double check if that's the case for critters as well. I think it probably is. I'll just double check. Only wound damage. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so then that is, wow, we can hear the sound of your shots going off. That is a, oh, wrong thing, not wound. No one got it. Oh, motherfuck. Just undid the things here.
Oh, the bars.
Yeah, the bars.
Damn you, bars.
48. Damn you, bars indeed. Here we go, but I got this. I got it. Here we go. 45. There we go. And there we go. All right, so let's do the correct one here. So first one, 8 points of damage. Second one, 12. Vil, you want to give us your shot as well? It'll be -3.
Here we go. Come on.
Wow,
So
-3
that's
is 12, which is what you needed.
Oh, okay, good.
Good. You guys all
Awesome.
hit this thing, and it is pissed. Roars
I'm going
back
to-
and turns towards you all. Let's roll some initiative, guys.
All right.
Everyone go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah,
And,
I
I don't know if you
think
need to click on your token or not.
We'll find
It is
out.
pissed.
Grab it here. All right.
I love how initiative on the sheet has an arrow. Like, come on, man, this is where it is. Fuck. Nothing else on the sheet has an arrow pointing to it except the initiative button.
Okay. Nice. All right. So, there we go. And a descending order. Pydrick, you're up first. You're 30 meters away from the Narglach. Your vessel, ooh, you can move it as a move action because you're piloting this thing right now, right?
Yeah. Can I tell its intentions? Is it turned looking to jump towards the water and swimming out towards us?
Oh,
or-
yeah. You need not make any check for that. It is definitely pissed off and coming in your direction.
So I want to try and turn the boat away from it and give us some extra time to take some shots at it.
You got it. So the skiff will move. Hold on. I've got that. Here we go. The heck is it? I'm justifying purchase here, guys. Where is it? Seacraft, there we go. So you can move 40 meters. Up to 40 meters. Where would you like to go?
So we're at 30, did you say, at the moment?
30 right now, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I want to. I'll just do it 20 meters this turn. So I'll turn it and start moving it 20 meters away.
And then, like, the speed, the distance you move is different. So you're at a 20 meters per turn right now, and you can choose to accelerate further by 40 next turn up to the max speed is like 100 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
Okay. So you're beginning to kind of slowly move away. Crescent, you're up. What are you doing?
Pew pew.
Which of you has the higher dex, Crescent or Vil? Probably Vil.
Let's see. Probably me. Could be wrong.
I have a 16.
Vil's got a 17. Okay, so actually, Vil, you're up first. What are you doing?
All right, so let's go ahead and attack this thing again.
Okay. You're currently 50 meters away from it, so that will be -8.
And then the +1 for my attack, so
Yeah,
-7.
so -7.
Okay. Come on.
Go. Nice, 13. Wow, you get another shot on this thing. Oops. Here we go. Anything else you wish to do?
No, I'm gonna wait. Hopefully, we can get closer, and I may use my heroic surge then.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Crescent.
Pew pew pew.
Okay. It'll be at 80. That would be only -2.
So that's a 10.
That's a 10 then. You want to spend a force point? That's a big shot too. There you go. Wait, because that was... Oh, yeah, because it was -2. That's why. Look at this. Boom!
Nice.
This thing's turn. It lumbers across the deck and launches itself up and poof, into the water. The hole, even in spite of the size, it's still slightly kind of like woo, 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 as the repulsor engines are trying to compensate for the shift in weight. And this thing will move to be within 20 meters of you. Ara, what are you doing?
Shooting it, hopefully.
Okay.
Does it get cover from being in the water?
It's going to have concealment, which means, so do you want to roll for miss before you roll, or do you want to roll for miss after?
Before.
Before? So this is only going to be a 20% miss chance. So give us if you roll a 1 to 10, no, 1 to 4 on a d20. That's going to hit if it hits.
Okay, and this will be at minus.
Well, actually, because it's close to being within 20, then it's...
Oh, yes, it's sanity. Okay.
Yep.
That's all right. Oh, nice.
That is enough. All right, so then it's 3. Now this, I think, there's some of these games where, like, once you exhaust the vitality, it doesn't go directly through to wounds.
Yes, I think so. I know for like PCs, you go immediately unconscious, I think.
Yeah, because this one... let's take a look here. But I think that might be just because it's so the Mass Effect fan game is based on this as a kind of starting point. It definitely works that way in this, but I don't remember if that's the effective damage. Any additional damage you receive reduces your wound points. If you take wound damage, you become fatigued. A fatigued character can't run or charge, so you're easily going to be able to outpace this thing now. And -2 to strength and dex until your wounds are healed. In addition, in a round where you take wound damage, you must make a fortitude saving throw. DC is 5 plus the number of wounds you lost in the round. So that is, let's see here. That's 9. That's going to go through to its wounds. It has damage reduction, so it'll be just a little bit, but let's make the check. I'll roll, and then I'll take a look if I roll quite high. Oh! I rolled a nat 1.
Uh-oh.
So you hit this thing, Ara, and it just slumps to the side and begins drifting away. You've knocked out the Retendi Narglatch with its solid shot. It's no exploding barrel, but I hope you feel very proud.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And if you unless you do anything, this will just drift off into the night. It's not. You guys will be able to cycle back and get to the Toklar's skiff.
Yeah.
So
You mean our skiff?
So what are you guys doing next then?
We have our own skiff now.
Yeah, we need to get over there and get the droid.
Let's go get our droid and our new skiff.
Okay. So you guys head over. Then I'm just going to get rid of the Narglatch because he is drifting away. And I'll replace it.
With the Star Destroyer.
Yeah. With, where is he here? There you go. L8.
Woo, buddy!
So, when... There he is. And I'll look up his wound points if and when it becomes necessary, but I think it will be appropriate to turn control over to Ara once again. There you go. You should have control over L8's token now. What do we see when he gets himself out from underneath the tarp that he's hidden under and he reunites with you?
I think Ara will just rush towards him, almost slip on some of the fish guts that are on the deck, and then sort of just hug him and almost immediately start doing a thing of like, "Oh, what has he done to you?
Ara!
Monster!"
I was so
Sort of
scared.
scaling him up and sort of fixing things and doing the agnostics and it's okay. Just
and he's sort of like spinning around as if he's trying to find something. The stormtroopers, they shot his men.
well, I think they're all gone, right?
Yeah, I mean,
The Luke one. Yeah.
clear skies, nothing around.
Did they say why? Did you hear anything?
They said he was a smuggler and an insurrectionist. Oh, Dave, you're muted. So we get to toast Mo. To Mo.
Hello.
So what were you saying, Crescent?
Insurrectionist. Hey, Bill, do you think you could search his ship and see if his skiff and see if he's got something similar to what we found on the other one?
Oh, that was the first thing I was going to do once we got over there, is search it.
Yeah, because
What is? Why don't you give us a search check then, please, Phil? If anyone wants to help, if they think of any way. You find Toklar's smuggling container or smuggling kind of place. He doesn't have a big place, but it's a place or a big what's the word I'm looking for? Compartment.
Compartment.
Yeah, he could fit maybe like 100 kilograms worth of stuff in here, but like these skiffs have a lot of mechanical components that work on them that are needed. There's nothing. You search through the rest of the sort of like, they're not lean-tos, but he's got sort of like prefab units that people have built on this. And this thing functions both as kind of like a fishing vessel, processing place, and a kind of like houseboat. Or, you wouldn't want to build like a prefab unit onto a skiff normally, but if you're spending a lot of time out at open ocean, that one might be one way of doing that. It looks like they were kind of in the process of just living out here. Like there's one or two small little cooking units that still have their stuff in there. I wouldn't eat it now, but it was still as if they were cooking at the time. Doesn't look like there was a big fight that was put up here. While they may have shot somebody, that might be the reason why they didn't. But he had about like between 8 and 10 people who were working on here, and they're all gone. There's nothing in the smuggling compartment. You find some stuff that you assume is illicit, and you assume he was going to supply to somebody to get around Imperial customs, but nothing like what you found on Broca's ship. Broca's ship, I should say. Like,
there's no Imperial encryption device similar to Brooker's.
No.
You want to, so maritime law, the abandoned ship is now ours, or do we?
Yeah, it's salvage, definitely. And I mean, he would have to come back and claim it if he wanted to claim it otherwise. You could claim it, but it is weird that they left all that stuff. If more Narglatches did arrive before you guys got here, this thing would have sunk.
Right.
Like, it's not going to. The repulsor lift engine would have just, that many Narglatches on top of here probably would have damaged it. It's like someone didn't want to shoot this thing out, but wanted to just let it go under. Yeah.
So we can close that drawer and slough the fish off the side so we don't attract any Narglatches?
You could try. Sloughing it off the side is kind of what probably attracted this one in the first place. But, I mean, you're a good enough sailor that you likely, Crescent, even clean this thing up. You could sail out of this. It's the fact this thing has drifted into Narglatch territory that also means there's probably more on the way, probably quite soon.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking we got to clean it up and get rid of the attractant to try and avoid more Narglatch.
Let's start it moving and just wash it off as we go. And leave a bit of a trail, but get out of here as quick as we can.
Vil, give us a knowledge streetwise check.
Sure.
Nat 20 again.
Nice.
He knows where his specialty is. Vil, what do you suppose happens if you guys pilot this thing out of this territory and start making your way back to Harbor 7 and you're buzzed by a TIE fighter again?
Yeah. Because the Imperials know what this skiff looks and sounds like. I say we sink it. Scuttle.
What if we just take it, because we're heading to 28, we're close to 28, we take it to 28 and sell it. Even at pennies on the, 1/10 the credits, still a big cash flow.
Didn't you just get paid enough, damn it?
Yeah, and I think Vil would know if they ask you any questions. For one, people are going to know that's Tuklar's ship that's being sold because he was on his way to 28. He knows folks there.
Right.
If you're trying to sell a hot thing, there's nothing that can be done really with it then. And
So just leave it and let the Narglatch have it. Let them
Yeah,
sink
it's
it.
probably not a bad idea, honestly.
Let's get out of Dodge then.
LA, it's like, where were you going?
Harbor 28. We're hoping to find you there. But Tuklar was headed.
He moves forward. You were coming for me?
Of course. Never leave you behind.
Hi. And he kind of moves up and, favored dog kind of style. He kind of like moves up and down and kind of rubs your leg.
Yeah.
He looks over. Vil was going to get me back.
Yes, he was very helpful.
Did it get a little
In the long
cooler
game.
out here, Vil, or am I imagining things?
Do what?
Then what would you guys like to do?
Let's head home.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Yeah,
idea.
I mean, we have no reason to actually head to Harbor 28 now, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
We could just head back to Harbor 7 from here. Pretend we never saw this.
Bingo.
Crescent, how would you like to navigate this? You want to do regular pace? You want to go 25%? You want to go 50%?
Well, I'm going to go 25% because I'm following up on a roll 20s. Just rolled the 20, so I'm not going to press it.
Okay. Last
That's
half
all you
hour,
need.
everyone gets another force point too.
So DC 15.
DC
I got
15,
them in,
please.
How many force points do I have?
You spent one on your shot.
No, I mean, like, how many can you have? Because I had 2 before you just said another force point. So.
Oh, I don't know. Like, so rules is written. You get them back. You don't get them back the way that I'm awarding them. So there really isn't.
What's your maximum? Is what I'm asking.
I actually don't know if there is a maximum officially.
Okay,
it might be
so
5, but
let's do DC 25 check then. Let's get home quick.
Yes.
Here you go. Give us a survival check, please.
If at worst, I can blow some force points and
Nat 1.
See, that didn't matter what I was
On
rolling
the
against.
outside, you don't need to do. Okay.
It didn't matter what I was rolling against. Roll 20 is like, we're not done this adventure yet, guys.
So, Crescent, you did seem pretty keen on keeping this vessel. So why don't you tell us what you snuck on board your ship or your skiff that the others don't know about?
Me?
Yeah, you.
You're the Nat 1. You were the one who were quite keen on it. Is this something from that smuggling compartment? Because Vil would have showed you that.
Yeah. Well, actually, so I was thinking, could I have grabbed the transponder when no one's paying attention?
You would have had to have, like, disconnected that thing, I think.
Yeah.
Do you
I don't know how big it is.
I can't remember. Do you have training in mechanics?
Repair?
Or repair, not mechanics. Yeah, there's no.
Yeah,
no, Kev. I don't have training the skill that doesn't exist in this game.
Yeah, I have it. I have repair. I'm pretty good at it.
Okay, why don't you give us a repair check, please?
Because I was thinking.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Oh.
Yeah. So while the others were looking around, you pulled that out, and that's on your somewhere hidden on the skiff.
Yeah, because I was thinking, well, maybe I don't need to have the ship, but I'd like to know where he was going, especially if he was an insurrectionist.
Okay. Yeah,
maybe it aligns with the transponder information that we had tracked from this ship.
Absolutely. So then, let me bring it back to... So it is the... With all of you back on board... Oh, and hold on, I'm forgetting one important member of the team here. Hold up.
L8. Where you at?
So I imagine Ara is working on cleaning up L8. Is that right?
Oh yeah, it's getting the full works.
So as you guys are making your way back, sure. What is Pydrick, Vil, and Crescent doing?
Well, I'm going to give Pydrick something to do. Can I give Pydrick something to do?
Sure.
Hey, Pydrick. You want to work on this and see if any of the locations align with the locations from the transponder or the skiff we're working on?
How's Pydrick feel when you find out that he's stolen this thing?
I mean, I guess it's got quite a lot of value to it, as most tech has. Are they likely to find it and detect it? I mean, Crescent's a good buddy, so I can only imagine he's doing it for the good of us financially. So, yeah, I'll just go along with it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try and sort of crack it.
Crescent, what are you doing then? Well, if you've given her that task.
Well, I will pilot. Apparently, not well.
Okay. And Vil, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Keep watch while...
Yeah, he's probably just watching, making sure everything looks all right.
Give us a spot check then, please.
Spot.
Keep both eyes on the sky. So
it's about midday, a couple days. You got at least another, day and a half of travel before you reach... you had to avoid inclement weather and also, Narglach territory. So it's going to take you 2 more days at least before you get back. Open ocean and Vil. You spot on the horizon moving along. And do you say anything before it turns in your direction, or do you like shout out as soon as you see a tie?
Yeah, he probably says something to others. He's like, "Hey."
So you can picture it's going along. You're almost trying to will it to not turn in your direction.
Yeah.
It goes by. And it is going to be the exact same flyover that you guys saw before. L8 is freaking out. They're coming!
Yeah.
Ara! They're coming!
Yep, it's him. But let's get you hidden somewhere, buddy.
Oh.
And she'll try and find somewhere on the skiff to hide L8.
Okay. Why don't you give us a sleight of hands check? I'm not sure. Okay.
Definitely use a force point on that.
Yeah, go ahead. As many as you like.
Let's hide him in the cabin.
14?
I'll do another.
Sure.
16, yeah, okay.
16. Okay, so 16 is going to be the target number to find him with a search. Whoa. And it disappears. Just like before.
Fakey coffee cup.
What do you guys do, if anything? Ara's hiding L8.
Trying to figure, should we stay on this path?
How far is it away?
Yeah.
How far we got to go?
So like 2.5 days.
Oh, blimey.
I mean, it did the same thing it did last time. They're not looking for us.
Yeah, it didn't come back last time, did it?
Right.
Is the transponder off? Is it sending a signal still?
Guys,
What transponder?
it does
The
appear to
one
be
that-
coming back. So it's turned back when it was on the edge of the horizon, and it's beginning to come back in your direction.
The transponder from the other ship.
The comm unit is active. Someone is trying to contact you.
Oh,
Crescent, you're the one who's in the cockpit. Ville's out on the bow watching this thing.
comms open.
Rutendi vessel, maintain your course and prepare for inspection. As it flies overhead.
Okay. Prepare to be boarded. Do we want to dump that thing in the water? If they find that Imperial decoder, we are pooched.
What you find is almost like a bird of prey playing with its food. This tie seems to kind of go to the horizon, then turn back and fly over you once again. Like you can feel your nerves just getting higher and higher each time it goes over.
Bill, do you want to toss that decoder?
Phil, you would know, like, there's a chance it's scanning for this kind of shit. Like, one of the...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm thinking, I mean, they've got somewhat decent optical sensors, I think. Even though they normally use non-optical stuff, I would think it would still have some decent optical sensors. They could be watching us. I mean, they can't count the hairs on our heads.
No,
but
and that's the
they
thing.
can
Like,
see
it's the size of it. What it'd be looking for is dumping big cargo. Right. You tossing something overboard, maybe it wouldn't be detected.
Maybe not. I don't want to get rid of it. It's. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Give us a sleight of hand check, please, Phil.
Come on, baby, now.
Nat 20 again. So again, I've said it before. Everyone has their game. Will, this is your game.
This is my game.
So
Isn't this your birthday too?
it's your birthday too. That's right.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Officially.
That's
Birthday
awesome.
20s from Roll 20. Here you go.
Yeah, back to back to back. All right. So you've disposed of that, and this continues on but for about maybe about half an hour, a little more, when you spot on the horizon, Phil, an interdictor vessel. These are the type of things that often transport troops, but this is also part of it set over for contraband that has been seized.
Oh, do we have to toss the transponder from the other ship too?
That's what Vil tossed overboard, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Am I wrong in that, or was it something else you were tossing?
No, I got rid of that thing with a quickness.
Yeah, that was the nat 20 there, the most recent nat 20. So then this thing comes over, and you can hear once again from this one tries to contact you again. Return vessel, prepare for inspection. Present all crew on board. Any concealed crew members will be arrested, will be detained. So this thing finally comes up.
I'll repeat that to Ara.
Anything you guys... Oh, go ahead.
Any hidden crew members could be detained. Ara, I don't know.
I mean, I think...
Allied as a crew member?
Yeah, I think about how the Empire thinks. I mean, they think less of droids than probably anybody, you know?
Yeah. And if they didn't see him on the last ship,
I don't know why they would.
Oh yeah.
Why they would consider it a crew member. It's a tool.
Unless
if it was on the last ship, if they'd seen it on the last ship, they would have taken it.
If they found him, yeah, and L8 could have hidden as well. I guess you could have asked L8.
See you?
I will tell you one thing to expect that Vil would be aware of. If there is a bad faith way to interpret an order, the Empire will do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you better
Bring
get
your
him
droid
up
out.
here.
Yeah, in that case, she'll quickly rush downstairs and get Allied out of hiding.
Okay. So you open the thing, and L8 says, "No!" Grabs the door and kind of closes it shut again.
Could have been low power mode.
Oh, he had to go to the door.
Okay. So, here we go. Then, what do, if anything, do you guys wish to do before the transport arrives alongside?
Well, I'm just gonna put us in full stop.
Okay.
To give us a few extra seconds for, if we're still going towards it, it slows down the amount of time they got.
So you guys see this thing pulls up alongside, and then it opens up with that violent, action that always accompanies Imperial things, and what spills out. An Imperial inspection team. All the stormtroopers are armed,
Yep.
and they begin barking kind of orders. Line up, come on, all of you. And then the Imperial officer steps out, or the customs officer steps off as well. And without making eye contact in that, bored and distracted kind of way, he says, "Who is the captain of this vessel?"
Who's the pilot?
I'm the captain.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
What is your cargo and destination, Captain?
Well, we have no cargo, sir. Our destination is to return to 7.
Where are you coming from, if your destination is Harbor 7?
We just left 28, sir.
28. He looks at one of the stormtroopers, and he just gestures. He nods, and one of the stormtroopers heads below deck. And this droid, it belongs to you? It seems to be malfunctioning. It's almost like rattling in place. It's so nervous about what's going on. It keeps looking up at you.
Yeah, it needs repairs. Sorry, I'll just get out of your way, and so I'll move L8 slightly behind me.
You'll move nowhere until instructed to do so. And L8 kind of says, "No, No. And he looks down at the droid. What was that? And he looks up, kind of tries to shrink down low. He's still rattling. What is wrong with your droid?
It's a malfunctioning core. It needs maintenance. I'm hoping to get it fixed soon.
You should take better care of your equipment. And the looks over at the four of you. You're traveling from 28 to 7 with no cargo. What is your purpose? Your fishing equipment has been disabled as detected by one, and the tie kind of overhead again. And he's like, order them on a patrol. It's on a patrol vector. So one of them, stormtrooper, stands aside and gives an order, and you see the tie kind of peels off and heads for the horizon. He turns back to you. Well?
It's recreational.
This does not strike me as a recreational vessel, nor that you would be in any place to engage in recreation, though I must confess the ways of you Rutendi is most confounding. And LA keeps checking. One of the stormtroopers who went to the bridge comes back and goes over to the officer, and he pulls in, hands him a pad. He looks at it. There is no record of your vessel making landfall in Harbor 28. You have lied to an Imperial inspection. This will now be escalated. And L8 says, no, no. And he gestures and says, if that droid speaks again, shoot it. And one of the stormtroopers is up. You know what's coming next, Vil. You'll be taken into custody.
28 doesn't have any kind of registry. There's not even a dockmaster there.
And why would you know so much about that then, Captain?
Because we just came from there.
Then, why don't you give us a... Let's see here. We're going to give you a chance
Just
at
to
this
check,
here.
does Will know that we went
Yeah.
to Harbour 10 and not 28?
Yeah. Just
Yeah, we
double
went to
check.
10. We went to 10, not 28, just so you know.
Yeah, you guys never actually made it to 28. So
So our
then,
transponder
Just
would not
checking
show.
if you was lying or you just
Yeah.
thought we were going to 28.
It would not show we went to 28.
why don't you give us a bluff check, Vil? Let's see if Will's birthday keeps on coming.
Pretty good. Let me spend a force point to see if I can make it a little bit better.
Sure.
$19. I'll live with that. That's a pretty good roll.
If
Okay.
you got another force point, we're only 4 minutes from the end here. So
Well, then, hell yeah, let's burn it.
I don't want to go to custody.
20 on the nose. So he
That's a
leans
20.
in and looks, and one of the stormtroopers, sir, and this officer just staring at you, and he takes the pad provided. He gestures, form up, and all the stormtroopers get back on, and he looks, Harbor 7. Hey?
Yes, sir.
We will see, Captain. Come on! And he kind of runs back on, and you can see that the rest of the stormtroopers get back on board. And they take off, making you think that they're somewhere they need to be in a hustle.
Mm-hmm. And so do we.
That's that silver tongue of yours, Vil. Well done.
So, with you guys 2 days off from Harbor 7, I guess one last question then. Do you continue on your course, or do you try and redirect to go elsewhere?
Same course.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, why would we go anywhere else right now?
No, same course, so that, because we said we're going to Harbor 7, we got to do what we're saying. He probably radios ahead to somebody to watch for us. And this skips back over to its owner.
Yeah, speaking of which, that's somebody I want to talk to.
Then
Yeah.
we leave our crew with Ara reunited with, oh, you know, if I paste, it's going to be a stormtrooper. Hold up.
Yeah.
Reunited with her stormtrooper.
Surprise stormtrooper. Just
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Anxiety-prone stormtrooper.
Then, with you guys heading back with the shadow of that, the you know, when the stormtrooper went into the bridge, that's where they would have had access to that comms unit.
Mm-hmm.
Or the, what do you call it? The encryption device.
Mm-hmm.
But with you guys sailing out over open ocean, 2 days out from Harbor 7, that is where we are going to have to bring our May 4th session to a close. So, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our annual return to a galaxy far, far away and our session of Harbor 7. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the characters we're playing, I'm going to post the character sheets for these characters onto the Star Wars. I think we've got a Star Wars. Do we have a channel for Star Wars games, guys, or is it something else? I don't remember.
I don't.
I don't think we run enough Star Wars stuff on here. Yeah.
There is a channel.
Yeah. And okay.
Yep, Star Wars RPGs.
We do. Okay, so go ahead and post that. I'll post the characters there. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the characters we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below. All the characters were made using the revised core rulebook, as well as the hero guide. Hero Guide had some really cool stuff in it. This is an interesting line. I didn't know, because it was the most short-lived of all the Star Wars ones from Wizards. I just wasn't familiar enough with the books that were out for this, and there's some really great stuff, including the Galactic Campaign Guide is honestly one of the best GM's guide, not published by West End Games, that I found for Star Wars. So really, really good product. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this game. Or sort of dedicated to Star Wars games in general. Most of the games and campaigns we run on an ongoing basis on the channel, as well as things like Find a Group, GM discussion, virtual tabletop chat. There's a terrific, helpful, knowledgeable, and friendly community over there. You're more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, including the Star Wars Role-Playing Game, a revised edition. I got all my books, with the exception of one, from them as I was prepping for this game. If you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserNight, all caps, all one word. It's in the description of the video. It'll save you 10% on any purchase of $10 or more. And if they don't have something in stock you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase again, check that discount code or enter the discount code at checkout, and you'll save 10% on your purchase. That'll change as of July 15th, 2025. So if you're listening to this after that time, just go to one of our more recent videos. You'll see what the current discount code is there. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart heroes from a galaxy far, far away. So David, Dave, Darren, and Will, of course, a very happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for playing, guys. This was so much fun to write and so much fun to run. So I really appreciate you getting up early or sticking around late, as the case may be, for today's session. So thank you very much, guys. And for those listening at home, once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that are besetting our fledgling heroes. Fledgling rebels? I don't know. We'll have to see. in a galaxy far, far away. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, happy gaming, and may the Force be with you.
Yeah.